That'll do. That'll do, pig.
As long as we got some in the bucket,
Yeah.
we're good to go.
We got some to spare. Yeah, we've been saving up those MBPSs in the bucket. Yeah. Just to cash them all in one day.
Mr. Bucket, you put your BPS in, Mr. Bucket.
Fucking nailed it.
BPS come out of my mouth, Mr. Bucket.
Oh, man.
Oh, hey, Internet.
Hi. Hey, Internet.
Oh, man, did they miss my Mr. Bucket song?
Probably not. I don't know.
Who knows?
Do it again.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Do it, dancing monkey.
Do it this time, but funnier.
Put some more stank on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some sauce.
Slather it in humor.
Dip it in the sauce.
Buckets of fun.
Where's the video?
Oh, man.
Where is it?
I got it. It's there. I'm watching it right now, Chuck.
Fix your shit.
We need to talk about how he enters the room.
Fix your shit.
There it is. I got it. I see it. Oh.
Correct your excrement.
Oh, wait. You have a 1080p stream? We can do 1080p?
Yeah, we've been doing that.
Oh, I heard that's...
He has internet.
I heard that's bad to stream with 1080p.
Well, okay. Let me actually.
I know it's on Twitch.
Yeah.
Where that... Yeah, YouTube scales, Twitch does not.
Yeah, YouTube actually automatically does their scaling.
Because YouTube is a quality operation, unlike that shitbag Twitch.
Yeah, if only
YouTube
like,
is
Twitch
owned
had
by
some,
huge corporate partners.
Yeah, like Amazon.
Oh, wait, fuck.
If only it had
the backing of AWS behind
the backing of nearly as powerful servers as Google has. Or more powerful. I don't know. It's that close, probably.
I think more powerful, because when AWS goes down, the entire internet is fucked. Like,
It is.
I'm just saying, like, whenever that happens, because
Yeah.
it has, you basically can't go anywhere. Like, something runs on AWS on every site, it seems like.
I wish they'd just kill the ad portion.
All right. Switch to night mode. Working on the night mode.
Ha
Ha! Ooh! Woo!
ha!
Hard and tarnation. He's on the internet.
Good evening, everyone.
Well, hello!
Welcome.
Buckets of fun.
You sound pretty excited.
I'm excited about Mr. Bucket.
Buckets of
I hear you win Zimmies now.
Yeah, he does. Hey, I'm Mr. Bucket. Hey.
Oh, wait, that's pre-show. That makes no sense to anyone that's listening right now.
Nope.
Shit.
Was that Christian Slater? The second
That was
one?
yes, as Mr. Bucket.
That's Chuck's imitation of Christian Slater winning Emmys for Mr. Robot.
It was a Saturday Night Live sketch.
Is that going to be on a bonus if we ever do that again?
It's not going to make any sense if it's audio only. No one's going to see me going, eh.
But it was described.
Yeah, it was described.
Yeah, sure, I guess it was.
Yeah. Give yourself a widow's peak with your hand and
Step 1, give yourself a widow's peak with your hand. Step 2,
cut a hole in the box.
Eh.
Step 3.
you are Christian Slater.
Look at the eclipse through that box.
It's eclipse in a box.
Mm-hmm.
I saw the eclipse in a box.
Yeah.
Mentality.
I looked right at it.
I also looked right at it.
I looked right at it.
I
and
too
said,
looked right at it.
I said, "Fucking taking you on, son."
Yep.
And then I went blind. Once I smelled my retinas is when I stopped. It was
Probably,
like LASIK.
Yeah. Yes. He was
Just
trying to do
with
amateur
a little
LASIK.
with a little less precision.
Yeah, it's like, my vision's a little
It was
blurry.
broad scale LASIK.
Yeah.
I don't say broad anymore.
Yeah, it's
dame or
skirt.
It was skirt scale.
Female.
Easy there for me. I'm still not sure why that's a bad thing.
What?
Like, to be perfectly honest, why the usage of the word female is a bad thing.
Because it's used by bad people.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it?
Is that all?
That's all it takes. Once bad people start doing a thing, the thing is bad.
Yeah, I know, but like...
Is it like ultra feminism? Like, because it contains male within it? It's like
No,
it's a
no,
subset
no,
of
I don't
male?
think
No?
so.
It's
But-
more like when you're describing an animal, you'd call them a female whatever.
Yeah.
And you don't say, and you just say female. You don't say female woman.
Yeah.
Which
What?
is
A
the
female
implication.
person.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
confused.
Just don't do
Well,
it.
you
It's
guys
just-
are.
it's just
you are
syntax.
dudes,
It's-
so
We are.
any ladies, women, human,
No.
human 2X chromosome.
Nope.
No,
You're getting
no,
into
yeah, no. Anyone out there who identifies as a woman, tell me.
she or her.
But she contains he.
Hey.
So it's, it
That's
has
not
nothing
the.
to do.
That we already established.
All
That's
right.
not part of the problem. It's not like
I would
changing
appreciate
women
it
to WOMY.
If you guys would stop getting so political during our podcast.
This pre-show is very
Yeah,
problematic.
yeah.
You sons of Hillary.
Problematic. It's underneath your feet.
It's underneath your feet.
Whose feet? My feet?
Your feet.
Your
The
feet.
you,
Your
the
feet.
you that I first pointed to.
Yeah. But in general, it's basically people don't like it, so you're better off just avoiding saying it.
Yeah.
I just want to know because all I've heard is stop saying that.
Just do it. Listen to what they say.
You sound like a Ferengi.
Scott is
and
explaining
I
it a little bit in the
Yeah,
chat.
but as far as I know, Scott doesn't identify as a woman. So
No.
fuck off.
Like,
Wow.
Wow.
Why do you hate
Wow.
men, bro?
You know why?
wait, it really does come down to something to do with Ferengis? I'm fucking confused
No.
right now.
No, it's
That's just
it's
what everyone posts when
everyone-
everyone
yeah.
says female. Someone
or
puts a
whatever.
thing with him going female.
Well, it's gross.
I am so happy I'm not on the internet.
You should get on the internet.
Fuck the internet.
No, you should get on
could
the
learn
internet.
something
I've
once
been
in a
on
while.
Twitter a lot less lately, and I like my life now.
I can't keep up on
It's
Twitter
weird.
for some reason. It like
Because there's a lot happening.
yeah, but I don't follow. Like I think I've netted like 4 follows in the last 6 months.
Oh
Like,
no,
that's-
yeah, nobody follows me anymore.
People,
No, I
but
don't
I've
mean
also-
I don't mean people
nobody
that follow
follows
me.
anybody anymore.
I mean, like I think I've followed like 4 more people,
Oh.
and
I haven't followed anybody new in over a year. I think.
so
I got my bubble, man. Staying in my bubble.
well, yeah, that's
I don't know.
I follow back people that follow me, but I give them a few days, and then if I don't like what they have to say, I mute them. So
Yeah.
it works the same way.
Yeah.
Gives them the satisfaction of thinking.
I've noticed lately it's been different in that, like, people like Chuck and Ian who have thousands of followers, like when they post something, they don't get the huge like hundreds of retweets thing that it used to be.
I think people are following just I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but I think people are following too many goddamn people and they can't keep up, so they're skipping a lot. So they're missing things. Or that might just be me. And Chuck.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
I think quote retweet has messed people up as far as that sort of thing goes.
it doesn't
Well, that-
display right for all
Yeah.
things.
Yeah. But that counts as a retweet, right?
It does.
No.
It does. No, it does.
Oh, it does?
Yeah.
Okay, they must change that then.
Hmm.
Anyway, Twitter.
Yeah.
I find I get a lot more work done when I just stay off it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't had much to say, man. Because you know what?
That is one thing I've been tweeting less lately.
Oh, I should retweet. Speaking of retweets. Where'd
I
that
am-
tweet, Chuck?
I am, however,
Where that
talking a
sweet
lot
tweet-
in our sweet Discord. Which
Yeah,
is,
I've been in the Discord a lot.
which is built up over the last few weeks. Pretty good community in the Discord. It's good,
Yeah.
good times. You can come in and try to. Well, don't come in and try to fuck that up. But you can come in and see how the balance is, and then gracefully insert yourself into it if you want. Check the website for the link.
Yeah, if you try to fuck it up, we'll just ban you.
Yeah.
So, good
yeah,
luck.
we will. You will get banned.
Good luck. You ain't getting by us.
BJ's been waving that ban hammer around like an infant with a gun.
Yeah. About anything.
Man.
That's also the way I wave guns around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, who's got opinions in here? All right, you're banned. Get the fuck
Yeah,
out.
yes, you did threaten to ban anyone that didn't like Batman 1989.
Yes, that's a bannable offense.
Permanent ban.
Permaban.
Permaban.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you were going to permaban.
Ban for life, because that means you're a bad person.
And your descendants.
Yes.
And your
Yes.
children's children. They're banned.
Salt in the earth.
You're not coming
Well-
to Discord.
What's my disposition on Batman Returns and my dislike of it?
Oh,
Am I
ban
safe
him.
there?
Ban
Oh,
him.
he fine. You can ban me. I don't give a shit.
I mean, you.
I get more done.
I think you can ban each other. Yeah, I think you guys can ban each other.
Cool, that'll be fun.
Back to back, we
Yeah.
banned each other.
We'll just end of Reservoir Dogs each other. Just
Right. You guys can't ban me, but I can ban you guys
Why is that?
because I am the server owner.
How do we
Are
let
you?
that happen?
Because I am the king.
What?
Because I took it upon myself to start the Discord server.
That's nice.
Yeah, just don't fuck with me, Chuck. What, are you upset because you don't have all the power? Ha, suck it.
I don't give a shit about
All right, then shut up.
careless about moderating the Discord.
I'll take your moderation powers away then.
It's fine.
Yeah. So should we
Podcast?
podcast?
I want a podcast.
All right. I think we have mostly in favor of podcasting.
Mostly in favor.
Thing and okay and oh wait, yeah, I didn't have to change it this time. That's weird. I just realized I didn't check to make sure we're actually putting out audio, but we are. So I kept it from last time. Hooray!
All right.
Finally.
Well, there was an update to OBS, so maybe they were like, "Hey,
I'm surprised it didn't erase all the settings.
we should unfuck that."
Good. I always love when updates do that.
When they unfuck things.
Yes. Stop fucking and just unfuck the things.
Fuck, it's a fun.
All right, let's do a thing here. All right, and welcome to the BMFcast,
Hey!
Hey!
BMFcast.
episode 390.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, that one.
So I'm Harlow,
I'm Mackie.
I'm BJ.
I'm Chuck.
and what we do each and every episode of the BMFcast is we go ahead and we watch ourselves a quote-unquote bad movie, come in here and talk about it for the first half, and then we rate them. Good bad movies, enjoyable bad movies. They get 1 to 5 jocks and robot jocks.
Robot.
It's fucking awesome.
However, there are bad movies. Doesn't stay away. They get a negative sliding scale, 1 to 5 bags, as in bags of trash, huge flaming piles of dog
Just
shit,
garbage.
just bags of
Dang.
shit.
Fucking garbage,
Juicy
trash, shit,
refuse.
dumpster juice.
Fly bespect.
Yeah, bespoke flies shit.
Fecally flecked.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I think we watched tonight's movie in an attempt to further ourselves down a line, if you will.
We did.
We watched 1992's Bad Channels.
Bad channels.
Bad channel.
From the Full Moon people.
Yeah, it's part of that. Like they were trying to create the full moon cinematic universe there for a little while,
Little
before
bit.
it was cool.
Yeah, way before it was cool.
And so we had to watch this one before we can move on to some other things. So
Uh-huh.
let's get a very quick
Apparently.
very quick plot summary out of the way and talk more about this.
Okay.
An alien determined to capture human females takes over a radio station to do it.
They don't like to be called females.
Even if they are human.
What are you, a goddamn Ferengi?
I didn't
It's
write
okay
this.
because he said human females.
Yeah.
Don't you understand how this works?
No, I still don't.
I don't either. I'm just assuming.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yes, aliens. Capturing human females. They
Yes.
wanted to make a distinction there.
Right.
They're not capturing alien females.
No. They are here for our human
Human.
females.
Or other species that also
Yeah.
happen to live on Earth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not picking up bitches,
No.
as in female dogs.
Nope. No dogs appear in this film.
No.
No dogs were harmed in the making of this movie.
just humans,
because they
well,
were
aliens
we don't know. We
and
didn't
robots
see it.
Oh, true.
or something.
Yeah.
Oh, there is an alien. Yes,
What?
a different alien.
What?
Very end.
Very
Right.
good.
Another alien. There are 2 types of aliens.
Yeah, multiple
And-
aliens.
And some robots.
Yes. And radio DJs, which are their own.
Alien.
Those are also aliens.
Their own genus entirely.
Yeah.
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 If it sounds like we're dancing around this one a little bit, it's because I don't know. This is a weird ass movie. And
Yeah.
We should probably get it out of the way now. Like, you have to be in a mood for bad channels.
yes.
You sure
you
do.
have to be in the right mood for bad channels.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I will say this, and I mean, I'm going to preface it with it's nowhere on its level, but I was getting a little bit of a Forbidden Zone vibe.
I was about to say you have to be in a Forbidden Zone mood
It's
to watch bad channels.
it's not as obtuse and weird and dated.
No, but it is as frenetically and aggressively bonkers.
Yeah.
For 20 minutes, it is not good. Like
The first
it
20
starts
minutes of this
badly.
movie is trash.
They spend too much time not doing anything.
Yes.
Like
It's like they're trying to do a full moon take on an actual movie,
yeah.
and it is so awful.
Well, it feels like they wrote the second act and part of the third act, and then just decided to improv the first act to kind of be like, all right, figure out your characters here. And there's no structure to it. It's just like, all right, here's a scene with whoever doing something.
See, here's going to be the thing that I absolutely don't understand is that this movie's padded to fuck with a bunch of things that you're like, they're really doing all of this so they can hit a 90-minute runtime. So we watched all these movies to get to Dollman versus Demonic Toys. That movie is 62 minutes long. So why did they get to all of that backstory, all of that, to where they said, yeah, it's going to be an hour. But this had to be an hour and a half.
Yeah.
I don't understand. But so what happens in the first 20 minutes that none of us liked was that it is setting up this world of, first there's a problem at a power station where a dude goes, he's like, must be that new radio station causing all the problems with Transformer. I'm going to go poke it. And he goes over to it, and there's like this weird alien tentacle attached to a Transformer. And he follows it with his eyes very slowly, as you do because you're stupid. And then he gets zapped with something.
Yeah. An unseen thing. He looks up in the sky.
Yeah.
Bright
And-
light zaps him.
Yes. So
Not before giving a holy shit.
Yes.
Which there are several decent ones in this movie.
yes, there are some Texas ass accents going on. But then basically it's setting up the initial premise, which is there is a radio station that for whatever reason broadcasts on 66.6 megahertz or whatever.
666.
Yeah.
And because
it's an
of-
AM channel.
It's
Yeah,
an AM channel,
but
so it's
like-
666
Yeah,
hertz.
and because of the stigma of that number, no radio station in the country has ever broadcast on that. And this station has just figured out we are the only one, therefore we are a national powerhouse.
The FCC allowed us to
Yeah.
put up a huge tower
Yeah.
and broadcast countrywide.
Right.
So we have a clear channel.
Which they say a lot, and
Yeah.
you're like, okay, guys. But so they brought in a bad boy DJ, fresh off of some who knows what,
Dan O'Dare.
right?
Yeah.
And
And he got fired.
Danger Dan O'Dare.
He got
Yeah.
fired from his previous job because he had
was-
sex with the traffic copter lady, I guess.
on air.
he was fucking
On
on the air,
Yeah.
bumper to bumper, as he says. But so this station is a polka station, has been.
No, I don't think it has been. He decides that he's going to play nonstop polka while
Yeah.
he's tied up in chains
Okay.
with a padlock on until somebody calls in with the correct combination of the padlock, and that person who gets the correct padlock number will also win a Cutlass Sierra convertible or something.
It's a bizarre ass
It's-
name.
It's a name that does not exist in reality.
Sukahami convertible.
It's a made up.
Yeah.
It's a Grand Theft Auto
Yes.
vehicle.
That gag is not a bad idea back in the day when radio DJs did dumb shit, which is
Oh,
just to
that's-
chain yourself up and have people
Yeah.
call in with a combination. There
That's
are dumber
perfectly legit,
contests than that.
But
At
he's
least
playing-
it didn't kill it. Well, it did.
Yeah.
He's playing one side of a polka record the entire time, too. And I think it's established that he's been doing this for about 12 to 20 hours?
20 hours.
20
I
hours.
think.
20 hours.
He's going to do it for 48 hours or until someone calls in with the right combination.
So he's taking calls, and people are like, try this. And he's just getting increasingly frustrated, like, no, why can't you just guess the damn numbers? And like, dude, there's a reason why there's combination locks. There's a lot of combinations.
Yeah, you can't just guess them.
But eventually...
Well, you figure out why he,
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
But
But eventually, the local cable channel sends out their ace reporter, Martha Quinn, TVJ Martha Quinn.
and BMFcast alum.
Is
Yes, from Dead Heat. She's also a newscaster in Dead
Oh.
Heat.
she? Okay. So,
Yeah.
yeah. But she shows up and is going to cover this stunt that he's doing.
All night long.
Yeah.
This
night long.
this
He's
cable
in, like-
station is going to cover this all goddamn night.
Well, it sounds like she's got an interview that's like back and forth between her and Flip Humble, who's in the studio. Yes, his name is Flip Humble.
Humble.
Flip Humble's a good name.
And so they're periodically like
Flumble.
they're chatting back and forth while she's like reporting on the scene of whatever's happening, and then they take a break or whatever, and she's going to have like a hour-long interview with him after the fact. I guess.
Yeah.
But while she's passing it back over to Flip, he basically gets what's his face, Dan, directly on the phone. I don't really understand it. It's like they can see each other. I don't really understand how that's
the
working.
magic of
He's
TV.
just looking in the camera, and Flip is called on the phone.
Okay.
I think.
And Flip is on the TV.
But
because
yeah,
he's
they got him on the
Flip
picture
is
in picture,
watching,
and he's
yeah.
like, "Hey, while I got you here, why don't you try guessing something?" And he's just like, "I don't know why, but I've got a 1 and a 2 and a 3 in my head." And he's like, "All right, let's give that a try." And he's like, "Holy shit, that worked!" now this is like, granted, this is like after him like talking to like 10 different people who are all going to show up later in the movie because in this weird little town, which is Pahuda,
Bahuda.
a made-up town called Pahuda. Like everyone is listening to this goddamn radio station. Like
It's the only radio station in town, I'm assuming.
yeah, and
It
so
blasts all the other radio stations out.
we, before he guesses the 1, 2, 3, and it is actually the right combination, he has talked to Peanut, the owner of the truck stop.
Peanut.
Peanut.
Bunny.
He's talked to Bunny. No, she's the weird band lady. Bunny's the band lady.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like
Cookie.
There's
the waitress.
There's like a really, really, really shitty marching band at this high school full
Consists
of like
of 3 horns and her.
and 40-year-old people.
Her hitting the cymbals.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all very old.
And it's like, what?
Yeah.
Are they? What? But they're I don't know. Conductor, band leader is like even older. The dude's like 80.
Yes.
And I don't know. It's all just
He wants
very
them to
strange.
get into shape.
Anyway, like I
And
said,
they also practice all night long.
and there's also a nurse at the hospital who's just constantly listening to this too. And they're all just like super into calling in about this. Anyway, so he gets unchained and immediately goes into like, all right, I'm free. Now it's time for rock and roll. Yeah. And starts that whole shtick.
Uh-huh.
And meanwhile, because the first part of the interview is done, they had a break, like I said, and so the camera guy goes off to get burgers for, I guess, Martha Quinn and the technician guy named Corky who works at the radio station. And
The engineer.
he's riding back on his scooter. Martha Quinn and whatever the hell her name is in the movie,
Lisa Cummings.
Lisa and Dan are like, besides having the interview, apparently they're also like in the first stages of dating, because like
he eventually confesses that he wanted this whole interview so that he could meet her.
yeah, because there was a point where they were talking and she sees a UFO off screen and nobody believes her. Like it's really bizarre because she sees it. He's like, "What? I didn't see anything." And immediately they're standing outside having this argument, and the cops or the cop, the sheriff rolls up and it's just like lights blaring, and it's like, what did you show up for?
Yeah.
Like
just,
he shows like
He said something about he was coming out because people said they saw lights out in that area.
Yeah, they've been
but he
getting
showed up
calls.
immediately.
Yeah, he was like right around the corner.
yeah. So it's just weird. Like,
But yeah, she says she sees a UFO.
and the sheriff's like, "No, you didn't.
Yeah.
Shut up with that mess."
Right.
And
got a
all
witness?
that, and all that.
And
So-
she's going on and on about how maybe Dan set all this up with the
Flip.
Flip. Bert
to win the
Hapley.
car for publicity, because that's the dumb shit radios DJs used to do, because who gives a shit. So yeah, all that's happening.
So
The dude goes to get food.
Delivery guy comes back, and we get the like hero shot of Alien standing on the cliffside, and
Yeah, he's like, "Are you
hits him-
ready to rock?"
And
Spotlight,
hits
80s
him
music
some-
video smoke.
hits him with some sort of beam and makes him disappear. Which,
And the bike, but not the food.
yeah, it's what's later established just makes this very weird because like where did this guy go? Because
He's dead.
the same. Well, I mean the same
Yeah.
beamy technology that he used on him is then used later.
He had it turned to
Kind of.
Yeah.
to go away completely.
It was a different effect.
Was it? All right.
Yeah, he had
Yeah.
settings on that thing.
Yeah. So they zap the cameraman, and
He's gone.
He's
He's
dead.
dead.
He's gone.
He's gone.
Yeah. Meanwhile, she's gone to investigate, I guess, the guy who had the
Well,
who got zapped in the
Yeah.
in the opening at the power plant.
as soon as she sees a UFO, she's like, "Forget this radio DJ nonsense. I'm on a mission now."
This is the biggest story ever.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah,
ever.
so she's just tagging along with, like, sheriff's like, we got a call out here at the power station. Well, I'm, like, right next to the power station. I'll go check it out. And they go to investigate guy who got zapped in the beginning.
Yes. And he
Where-
is fucking going nuts.
Well, he's not too bad in the beginning.
Well, he's
like,
fake
"Man,"
crying a lot.
He's like, man, that shit was crazy. I didn't understand.
They
And
hit
then-
me with, like, a probe
Yeah.
or something.
And he's like, I think I got something on me. And he rips his shirt open, and they've just stuck some foam bullshit
green
to him.
foam stuff.
He loses his goddamn mind.
yeah.
All that sort of bullshit.
I mean, he goes absolutely insane.
Yes.
And they stay with him for about 30 seconds of him just freaking out and just a tight shot of the goo on his chest. Yeah, so they take him to the hospital.
Where they're getting him out of the car in the hospital, and he's like, I've got cooties. Oh my god. I don't know what's gonna happen to me.
And the doctor guy's just like, yeah, well, we'll look at it, I guess. Just push him that way. This hospital is like the least urgent care.
Oh yeah.
It's laissez-faire general.
Yeah.
Well, except for the fact that, like, they pull up and, like, the doctor and the nurse are already immediately running out. I mean,
Oh, sure.
it's a cop, so maybe he radioed ahead.
Yeah,
like,
I'm sure.
Guy's got cooties, bring out the
Yeah,
gurney.
but then they're just like, whatever. Take him in there. Let's check him.
Well, and he's like,
fucking
he's
idiot.
got the worst case of blah, 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 blah. He's like, or jock itch in the common vernacular. Doctor finger guns.
Exactly.
Dr. Jokes.
No.
Yeah, and meanwhile, back at the radio station, the alien thing has kind of made its way inside. To which, so DJ guy has a headset that he just wears pretty much the entire movie, and he will just live broadcast the alien doing everything, like everything that happens. He's narrating all of it.
I mean, it basically becomes like he's doing War of the Worlds.
Yes.
At this point.
Yes, and the alien has a robot buddy, little guy. I think I've seen this robot in other Full Moon movies. I'm
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, they describe him as a little robot, but they can see his brain because he's got a little dome on his head.
Yeah.
So
So
with sloshy
yeah, it's got brain juice in it, but
Bruce, as we call it.
he and the engineer are just freaking out, and the studio starts to get covered in goo, in like mold,
Yeah.
fungus.
Yeah,
Alien fungus.
Because the alien, he's got like a jumpsuit on, kind of, but then he's got like a giant head.
It's like he's just a spaceman in a spacesuit, but they've put an asteroid on his head and carved out a
It's
little
like
window.
they use some of that expanding foam and just put like a little
Yeah,
welding.
like they were insulating his house.
Right. Like little welders, glass.
Yeah.
And then just covered his head in expanding foam.
Yeah,
And
it's-
painted it.
It's one of those
green
rocks
and
that you
black.
put in the sink, and then it expands, and they stuck it on his head. Yeah, so that's the guy.
Yeah. Alien thing. And he's got that light stick thing.
Yeah, it's like a drum major's baton, but with a little flashlight at the end of it.
And moldy.
Yes,
Yeah.
everything's moldy. But yeah, so
but he takes over, and Danger Dan's just like, oh my god, this thing's in here. And
yeah, and everyone's calling in, just like, oh man, Danger Dan, this is the best. You're fantastic. He's like, get off the line. I need to call the police.
Oh, no,
And they're
he
like,
loses-
he doesn't
yeah.
get to that point.
He
yet.
loses communication as soon as they take over. But everyone is just like, we keep cutting back to, like, the nurse and everything, and they're like, man, listen to what he's doing. It's
Yeah.
great, isn't it?
Well, the nurse, holy shit, like the doctor's in there, sawing off the goo off of the guy they brought in, and she just comes in and is just like, Doctor, hey, listen to this, and he's like, I'm busy here.
Yeah, I'm curing grayscale here. What the fuck?
Yeah. And yeah, so the doctor immediately is kind of like, yeah, well, let's check this out and listen to that. So he had cut a sample of the shit off of the guy, put it next to the radio, and at one point it starts reacting to the radio, which is basically they've taken like two green pickles and have just made them flop around while music plays on the radio. Music, by the
Been to that
way,
party.
Music in air quotes.
provided by the Blue Oyster Cult.
And
Well,
that other fucking weird
but
band.
we haven't gotten to them yet. But just like if you're
Joker.
just talking about the score, contributed by Blue Oyster Cult.
The
Yes. Yes.
official Blue Oyster Cult.
Right.
Yeah, umlauts and everything.
Yeah, it's really them. So,
bunch of
Yeah, from this point, the aliens just keep fucking around with the console and coating everything in goo.
Right.
And they're in the back room just kind of yelling and like, man, I don't. He's narrating everything, and everyone that's listening just thinks it's just the most entertaining thing they've ever heard.
This guy's
And
crazy.
eventually, Corky's like, I can't take this shit, and tries to run out.
Yeah.
And they murder him. Well, they don't murder him, but they zap him and they coat him in mold again.
Yeah, they basically zap him, and then he is encapsulated in fungus.
Yeah.
So
And so he's out of the picture, and it's just Dan who's just like, oh my God, this is
Yeah.
terrible. And at some point, they play a song,
Mm-hmm.
and the cookie at the truck stop.
well, the alien has brought in like these jars and set them down on a table.
Yeah,
and,
they look like hookahs.
yeah, and Dan starts freaking out about that. They're like empty lava lamps.
Mm-hmm.
And Dan is just freaking out. He's like, he's got these jars. I don't know what these jars are. They're just jars, and he's an alien, and they're jars.
Yeah.
But then, yes.
Yeah, we find out what those are for.
We do.
Is they start playing a song, and
Like, because it's all been just noise and Dan yelling about everything that's
Yeah.
going on. It's been a while since we've heard music.
yeah, it's been very much 50s
Yeah, it's
type,
spooky noises.
theremin type
Right.
sounding shit. But when they play a certain song or something, Cookie at the truck stop, suddenly dudes kick open the front door, and it's fucking hair metal video time. And these people are going to rock out in the middle of this diner
Yeah.
and just girl wailing away on a guitar solo, standing on the counter, and Cookie hops up and starts dancing with them. I think it's the cook from the back.
I think it
comes
is.
out
Yeah.
and is like
In-
the
in-
lead singer.
In every scene, it's the other people that were in the scene with them are now the rockers.
Yeah.
I'll give them one thing about these musical interludes. Like, they're shot like a music video,
Yes.
and everybody is playing their instruments like they should be in the song.
Yeah.
Yes.
They are not embarrassing from a technical standpoint. The problem is
They-
that each time this happens, it's the entire goddamn song. The only
It's
thing
4.5 minutes
Yeah.
of the song.
the music is not great. It is very early 90s undiscovered bands that will never make it big, but the one thing that is enjoyable, I mean, it's not bad, but like the one thing that's enjoyable in the middle of this is they cut to Cookie and you realize that this is just happening in her head.
yes.
Like, because everyone else in the place, like, despite in the music video section of it, all the truckers and everything are just
Yeah.
getting up and
but like
going
the first
crazy.
2 minutes of it, yeah, they're all going nuts, and
Yeah.
it's a music video.
But then they just cut to Cookie dancing by herself on the counter, and everyone just staring at her like, "What the fuck?" And then it cuts back to whatever's going on in her head. Then the song ends, and she just Star Trek teleports out of there
Yes.
and is placed into one of the jars as a 12-inch tall thing.
No, we have an entire truck stop full of people who have witnessed somebody just disappear.
Yes.
You know, and she immediately goes into the cookie jar and and like I swear I wasn't sitting on that one. I just and like everyone's voice gets like you know, super amplified,
up.
like pitched
You're
up.
on helium
Yeah.
when you're in there.
Because they're tiny-fied.
Sure, yeah,
Yeah.
like you do.
No one has
And
deep voices when you're tiny.
So
Except Deep
No, I
Roy.
know.
like, well, she like hers is a little annoying, but like you knew like. Because Bunny, who we met earlier, is coming next, and she's already got a really high voice,
Yeah.
you know. And it was like, oh God, please don't let her talk too much when she's in the jar.
Things you often say.
Yeah. But this is what she appears in the jar, and Dan loses his shit at
Yeah.
this point. He's like, "Oh my God!"
lady in the jar.
Yeah, but he's still kind of fixated on the jar aspect of it. He's just like, it's an alien jar. And also there's a tiny lady in it, but it's a jar.
He
from
was trying to warn
space.
us about a jar and a jar.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Yeah, so, you know, the aliens need women. So,
Yeah,
Mars needs moms.
Yep. And he keeps telling people, he figures like, you got to shut your radio off. It's because he looks in the viewfinder another time, and he sees the one girl who's been calling from the band practice. And he knows her name. I forget her name now. Bunny. He knows her name, and she's called him before. And he's like, Bunny, like, what are you wearing right now? And she's like, I'm wearing my paisley top. My boyfriend got me. And he's like, are you in like a gym or something? She's like, how'd you know that? He's like, I could see you on the viewfinder.
Turn off your
You've
radio.
got to shut off your radio.
she's like,
And
oh, Danger Dan, you're
it's like,
crazy.
yeah. like I love that he's legit freaking out, and everyone's just buying it. They're like, oh man, this is the coolest show ever.
Yeah.
And yeah, she ends up in what I guess is supposed to be kind of like a Nirvana Smells Like Teen Spirit knockoff thing.
Absolutely is supposed to be, but man, it is a terrible song with one of the worst choruses I think I've ever heard.
It's like somehow if you cross the presidents of the United States with Nirvana with a little divinals.
Yes, you put the divinals in there.
Yeah,
that's how you get this.
That's the correct meets.
Wow, but it's saved because it's so goddamn goofy what the extras and the incidental characters are doing in it. Because she's dancing like a sexy crazy person, and of course they keep cutting to her just doing it and everyone going, "Guh." But there's a nerdy guy in the marching band who is in the fantasy video with her dancing around like an idiot. And then there's the band leader who at first is having none of it, just standing there disapproving like harumph. And then halfway through the song just decides, all right, fuck it, I'm going to rock out to this.
Yeah, I just love that when they cut to them dancing and dorky guy with a trombone, he's sitting there and he's slowly moving the trombone in and out, in and out.
Yep. Yeah.
But yeah.
What a trombone.
Yep. Eventually she gets zapped into a jar too.
And dorky guy looks like, low rent Crispin Glover too. So
Yeah.
it's
Or just Crispin Glover.
well, sure. Well, I'm just saying, like, it kind of makes this whole scene like a very weird Back to the Future-esque thing. Like,
Yeah, it really does.
got your parents to dance, Marty.
Yeah, and she's the only one who's not in like full band uniform also.
Yeah, she's just
like
in
they're
her-
all in marching band uniform and she's like got a mini skirt on and
she's mall hottie
Yeah.
outfit on. Yeah,
and then the nurse also gets sucked in when the pickle thing is dancing. The cop shows up because the cop the whole time has been like, this is all bullshit.
Yeah.
Nothing's happening, and it's like he's seen dude with grayscale all over his fucking gut.
Greenscale.
Yeah, greenscale. And he's seen other shit that's been weird.
yeah, he's seen
But
some
he's
shit.
like, this is all just Dan being a fake idiot, and he's got hostages in there now.
Yeah.
This guy is on
Because
full...
like he got called to the truck stop, and Peanut is like, "Cookie's gone," and he's
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, it went off with some trucker," and everyone's like, "No, Sheriff, that's not what happened.
We were all there."
She vanished." So yeah, but so he gets to the hospital, and they're like, "Get in here, you got to check this out." The goo is dancing,
It's reacting to the music.
and he's like, "Oh yeah," and just immediately pulls out his gun and
my
blasts
God.
that shit.
He shoots the radio. He shoots the alien pickles. He's just unloads on everything.
But it's not like that's the moment where his switch flips and he's on board. He's still just like, I don't know, fuck all this. I'm gonna go. Let's all go to the radio station and I'll berate those people some more.
Yeah, because he's got women in there, so it's a hostage situation
Right.
now, and it's like, okay, guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Martha Quinn just goes with him, and so she's broadcasting, so everybody's there, and they bring out the battering ram because they're going to try and get in.
Oh my god. Well, they had a guy trying to weld open the door, just with a
Yeah,
Trying to weld it
well,
open.
unweld
It's a
it.
cutting torch.
But they just like, I can't break through this fungus. Every time I cut it, it just
it
grows back.
grows right back.
And
These people are idiots, by the way.
okay.
Like, they're trying to cut
Well, they live
this
in
thing
Pahrump or whatever.
right down the street from Art Bell. This all makes sense now. Art Bell lived in Pahrump, Nevada.
Oh.
Art Bell is a conspiracy radio theorist guy. Just to fill
Oh,
everybody
it all
in.
makes sense.
Yeah,
Follow the money.
right. Bell
Does he
jars
sell
from earlier.
supplements?
You know what? I don't think he does sell
Oh,
supplements.
food
which
buckets?
Is weird. He might shill food buckets.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
prepper buckets.
Right, Pruckets as we call them.
Oh, good. Welcome to Pruckets.
But like,
Give me rickets.
Mr. Pruckett, meals come out of my hands. Anyway, like they're just trying to cut the fungus, right?
Yes.
There's a whole metal door in the middle that he could try to cut through.
No.
There's also like it's just a concrete block building.
Yeah, they can knock it down.
Just
It's not
Yeah,
very sturdy. It's a
man,
piece of shit
fucking
building.
Waco that shit.
Yeah.
Get
just
the tank in.
Yeah, it's the era.
just drive an APC right through the building
Yep.
and then set it on fire.
But he calls for the battering ram, and two fucking like bank robbers pop out of this truck, just wearing like black sweatsuits and skull caps.
Listen, Charles Band didn't have SWAT team costumes. All right,
They're just
this
fucking-
was as close as they were getting.
the
Chuck.
Hamburglar comes over with the thing, and they just try wailing on the door, and that doesn't do anything.
Well, yeah, he starts yelling. He's like, "I can hear you outside."
yeah, But then the alien's like, I
alien's
can hear him outside.
Yeah.
And he goes over to the door. And he's just like, get away. If you can hear my voice, get away from the door. And I forget what the alien...
Well, they hit the door, and then they get sprayed with goo somehow.
Right.
But they don't break down the door. Or
They
anything.
smacked they smacked the goo on the door.
Yeah.
Like in between the door frame
Yeah.
and the door. They smacked that goo and it splattered everywhere.
Yeah. And then they're like, goo.
We got goo on us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So... Yeah.
At this point, he's just like, man, I'm going to fucking kill myself.
Basically. But
Yeah.
he's like, I'll try and fashion a weapon first.
Yeah.
And-
Oh, yeah, and they sucked up the nurse. She got sucked in, too.
She did. And...
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
That
I
was
was going to say, we can't just skip
Yeah,
over
we can't
that.
just
Okay.
skip the nurse segment because...
That's the
yeah,
worst
I wanna
song I have ever heard in my life.
Yes. I wanted to circle us back to that because we kind
It's
of jumped ahead. but-
performed with some gusto, though.
Oh, my God. Like,
Gusto the clown.
I was
Yeah.
going to say, not worst I've ever... No, it's not the
No,
worst
it's-
I've ever heard. It's bad, but...
it's... I have no
fails to
idea
do-
what it's trying to... Is it trying to do like a Mr. Bungle thing? I don't know what it's trying to do.
It's like
I honestly,
have you
legitimately
ever,
cannot figure out what it's doing.
and this isn't a question for you guys. This is a question for the listeners. Have you ever tried to listen to The Residents?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like The Residents got signed to Psychopathic Records. It's fucking weird.
It's like Grade Z, Cypress Hill, and clowns, and garbage.
Yeah. But like metal riffs. It's really, really...
Yeah, and like in the middle of it, they do a skit, and like Cotton Eye Joe style, just
Yeah.
They fuck up every style of music in that song, and there are 19 of them.
Yes, this group is large. There are a lot
However-
of
It's awful.
This nurse is enjoying the song immensely because she's basically stripped down to like a negligee.
Mm-hmm.
And the doctor's just like, man, it's still curing grayscale over here.
Yeah, it's like,
and
"Ma'am,
she's
what are you
like
doing?"
bumping into him while he's cutting. And then the dude's like looking up from the table like, man.
sexy
the
nurse.
dude on the
Best
table
surgery
just
ever.
lays there for a while until she disappears.
Yeah.
Then he sits bolt upright.
Yeah, like
Dude, that seems semi-inappropriate. Why would you wear black lingerie when you're wearing a white nurse's uniform?
Yeah, but that video is complicated and insane and goes on for a very long time.
Yeah.
But it
Yeah.
ends with the nurse getting miniaturized and put into a tube.
It does.
Yeah. So anyway, he's like, man, there's no hope for these women. They're stuck in this jar. There's no way to change them back to people.
People can't get in.
Yeah.
So
And every time I've tried to leave, the alien points the thing at me and makes me talk. And at some point, he realizes that his voice is how the...
but it's after.
Okay.
He's like,
Well,
I gotta
Yeah,
find.
he's going to kill himself.
Yeah.
Because the mold has grown on
Yeah,
his
he's like, I
hand.
got the thing on my hand. It's over for me. So he's like, I'm going to attempt to fight my way out, but I'll probably die as a result. So he goes back into the engineer station, gets a box cutter, and he's like, huh. And then he sees a can of disinfectant, like,
Not Lysol.
yeah,
Germisol.
Germisol. And he's like, I don't know, spray this on my hand, and it just eats away the stuff. And he's like, sweet, now I know what to do. So he goes out there, and he is just
Well,
like,
first he's like, "Don't worry, Corky, I'm gonna save you."
yeah.
Now Corky's been in a fungus cocoon
Yeah,
for like the last
Corky is in
hour.
a
or
goddamn
We call
bubble
that
at
a
this point.
fungoon.
Oh, Bafangu.
Fungoon.
But yeah, he sprays that for a little bit, and it starts, bubbling. And he's like, "All right, you're gonna be out in 20 minutes, Corky." And then he's just like, "I'm gonna spray this alien in the face with the Lysol."
Oh, yeah. And he's like narrating this to the audience. He's like, Danger Dan's he's going to make it. He's got it figured out now.
But with every spray, he's just going, "Woo!"
Yeah.
like he's on a fucking hayride or something.
I don't give a shit about the FCC. I'm all about those CFCs, motherfucker.
Woo!
Nice.
And it starts running out, and he gets like one more spray. He goes, "Woo!" Oh,
Yeah, he shakes it a little bit. He's like, fuck.
yeah. And the alien is just like, "Nah, son," and
Points
so-
the thing at him again. And he's like,
he's like, "All right."
Right.
And that's when he starts to realize that it's his voice that's.
yeah.
It's not necessarily his voice, is it? Is it
It's
his
just
voice
a-
or just the
something
his
that's-
voice is
something
amplifying the
broadcast, yeah.
signal.
But what's really dumb is that he realizes it's his voice.
and then never shuts up.
And just keeps
Yep.
screaming for the rest of the time. Because like Martha Quinn is outside and he looks through the viewfinder and he's like, "Oh shit, Martha Quinn, it's gonna get you. Run, girl, you're in danger."
and it's gonna get
But this is after he's learned that if he just would shut the fuck up, it doesn't have the power to do anything.
Yeah, and nobody's listening to him telling.
Yeah.
Because he's He's been telling people, shut off your radio, you can't listen, and please stop calling because I can't get out. I can't get an outside line. And people
Hey, maybe
keep
that would work
calling.
for us if we just tell everybody not to listen
Man,
and not to call.
He picks up the phone at one point, and this guy's just like, man, I love your show. And he's like, Richard, please get off the phone, man. I just need not solid. The guy's like, yeah, buddy, I love it. He's like, for the love of God, man, get off the line. And they go, woo!
Well, eventually he's like, you stupid fuck, just shut up.
Yeah.
And that's when the owner of the station outside, who's like been freaking out throughout the movie.
Yeah. He's like,
Oh, none of that mattered. Like the whole rogue broadcast thing didn't
he's been
bother him,
told
but
that
him swearing.
everyone
is-
on the planet is listening. So he's kind of not down with, saving anybody.
Station
because
manager Vernon Locknut, by the
Locknut,
way.
Yeah.
I mean, he should be more pissed that there's been no commercials.
Yeah. Because just talking is not earning him a fucking
Nope.
cent. He's
Nope.
not getting paid. But yeah, so that dumb conflict is happening outside. DJ guy has learned that maybe if he just stops pleading with everyone and just starts saying curse words, that maybe someone will finally pay attention. So he drops a couple, but doesn't. No one.
Yeah, it doesn't
changes.
really-
Tries to
anything.
tell them
But-
to take him off the air.
Well,
but
it's the best thing is like the Locknut guy is like, he just said the F word, I'm ruined. And then like he's like, get off the phone, dickhead. He's like, dickhead? Oh my. It's like, dude, he scaled back, way back.
Yeah,
You know, like,
Dickhead's all right.
yeah. Dickhead's practically acceptable on the radio now.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but as the alien is trying to zap Martha Quinn in, that's when the band leader or the band dork Crispin Glover has shown up, and like it's suddenly like, hey, that's Martha Quinn.
Well, first he was like, where's my bunny?
Yeah. Where's Bunny?
And he's like, oh, that's her. That's Martha Quinn. That's Lisa Cummings. Let me get her autograph.
Martha Quinn, I love
and
you.
he goes up and he like shocks her because she's looking through her camera because she's been operating her camera since her cameraman's gone.
And her camera is fucking ridiculous. It's got like rabbit ears on it,
Yeah.
and like a giant fucking light. And Martha Quinn is like 4'6". I mean,
she's tiny.
They've given her at one point she's got a cell phone with a ridiculous battery and like 8 batteries for the camera, and is just like going into war with all this dumb equipment all over her. But yeah, so she's got this giant camera, and the guy's like, "Hey, where's Bunny?"
She's like, oh my god. and what happens is as this happens, he gets zapped in, and he's like, oh my god, and freaks out. And
Bunny.
And
but yeah.
the alien, because whenever they've zapped a girl in, the aliens walked over and kind of waved at it. And as Dan describes, he's like, it's like he's got a pet now.
Yeah,
And
he wants the women.
yeah, but as soon as it's a dude in there, the alien's like, no, no,
Yeah.
no, no, no.
And he murders his robot.
Yes, he does.
He's
Yeah.
like, God damn it, robot! I don't want this dude. I don't want dudes in my tubes.
Well said.
Yep, and he's like zap, and
Yeah.
they blow something up that was maybe another version of this robot.
Yes, a cheaper version of that.
And
robot.
the DJ's just like, he blew up his robot.
And it's
friend.
reversible.
Yeah, because what he does then is he zaps the guy back out.
Yeah,
And he's like, oh shit.
yeah.
Crisp in,
We
crisp
can,
out.
yeah, we can save these people. It's reversible. There's hope.
Yeah. But then he's like, oh no, Martha Quinn, he's zoomed in on you again. You got to get out.
Yep.
And she's just like, what, huh? And then just gets zapped right into it.
She didn't zig or zag.
Nope.
Nope.
Right in. The ladies have been brought in with, if they're holding something comes in with them. So she's got her video camera.
Yeah.
The
And
nurse had her
had her cart,
her cart.
which she was holding on to.
Bunny had her Walkman, I think.
Sure.
Yes.
Why not?
Because they all have props.
The dude at the cable station, meanwhile, has decided that he's going to go to town with the Russian correspondent, who is also his personal assistant.
I don't think she's specifically the Russian correspondent. She's just a correspondent who's Russian.
Okay, well,
It's like the world news correspondent
Okay.
that's Russian.
okay, but so they basically go to town. Well, they go to where the radio station is. They
Right.
don't go to town. It's not that kind of movie.
Because Pahuda isn't a town.
Pahuda. But he's just like, I'm gonna go get my car and also be the lead of this story because this story is great. That's all this cable news station has covered, is this fucking story. And that
Yes.
guy was on the air for like 12 straight hours covering it. So he has shown up and he is out there covering the story for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And so they are getting pictures from Martha Quinn back to the truck.
Mhm. They figure out they can patch in.
Yes.
Those giant rabbit ears on the camera.
What is either really clever or really stupid about this is that the incoming signal is tiny. And he is not happy about it. He's like, what is this? He's disturbed by that. The movie doesn't lean in on this joke for whatever reason. I don't know if they realized how clever it might have been.
They leaned in enough.
But they have just this little tiny picture window on the monitor of this feed.
It's about a third the size.
Yeah.
Maybe?
And it's like, it's kind of funny.
It's a pretty good gag.
But
It's a pretty good gag.
yeah, so the DJ is just like, you know what, I'm just going to go out there and fight the alien, and we'll move the levers around and reverse this because I know it can be reversed. And also, the engineer has finally busted out of the cocoon. He's like, hey, what's going on?
Oh shit!
What was happening? Oh,
Yeah.
God, why am I drippings with goo? So,
But yeah, he grabs the rod or
Yeah.
whatever thing
Yes.
and points it at the jars, which zaps some of the women out.
yeah, 3 of the 4 who just pop up outside. Or no, inside, right there, large size. They're normal size again. With
Well, no, doesn't he fight the alien and slash its suit first and then
Okay,
pull the...
yes.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah, he does. He makes it leak.
Yes.
Yeah. He
It's
slashes
just-
the alien spacesuit.
Fire extinguisher shoots out of this thing for a good minute or so, and then it kind of explodes, and then it's like a weird, like,
Yeah, it wasn't even like humanoid at all.
yeah, it was like a Audrey 2 / King Ghidorah triple-headed.
It looks like that
plant.
fucking Pokemon, whatever, the triple-headed bullshit thing. Oh, whatever. Fuck, it looks like one of them Pokemans.
Yeah, you know.
Pokemon!
Which, like, at first has robot legs, and you're like, oh God, what is this monstrosity?
And
But then it
they just fall off.
it just yeah, and it parks itself behind a console, and you never see it again. You know, moving. It's just 3-headed plant thing.
But apparently, in all its thrashing, it knocked over a crate of disinfectant.
No.
No.
That was on the nurse's cart.
Yep.
Oh,
That got re-enlarged because we were like, why
okay.
does she have her cart? And then it's just like, oh, that's why, because she was pushing around a
That's
cart.
right.
She actually, earlier in the movie, started polishing one of the cans of disinfectant to
Yeah.
make sure that you know that that's what's on the
Well,
cart.
she spent while she was standing in a room off to the side in this hospital,
Yeah.
and just spraying disinfectant on the
was-
the counter for like 30 seconds.
It was Chekhov's disinfectant.
and then she throws that can away or puts the cap back on and leans back down to the 40 cans of disinfectant on her cart. Which, I mean, if you're gonna work that into the end of the movie, that's a fine way to do it, I guess.
Yeah.
Sure.
But they all just armed themselves with
The
disinfectant.
least of this movie's sins.
Chekhov's disinfected is Weissol, by the way.
Tommy Wiseau. Yeah, so they just all armed themselves with the disinfectant and start attacking the plant.
Yes.
To which the DJ, again, as soon as he starts spraying, just is like, woo!
And this is the way this plays out is one of those scenes that, like, every once in a while, my brain steps out of a movie and suddenly sees the cameraman filming the scene,
Yeah,
and the director standing off to the side,
Did the same thing.
and just these people, just having spray cans and just spraying, in front of their face, going ah, and then this long shot of all 5 of them standing there spraying this thing with these cans, and
While they're just thrashing this robotic plant around.
yeah,
Yeah, it's silly.
it's pretty great though.
Yeah, and they spray it forever, and then it finally just kind of goes, but then, like at the last second, just
It reaches over with its mouth and grabs a lever and
then it just warps out of there.
yep, back to its ship.
Yeah,
Yep.
which then everyone goes outside and they're like, "Hey!" Well, no, they realize they can explode the door to get out. So
Did they even show that from the inside view?
No.
They
No.
didn't. Yeah.
They're just like, spray the door, let's get out of here.
Yeah.
The sheriff, like, despite all of this, the sheriff's still like, your destruction of property
Yeah.
and
you inciting a riot and
and then
Well, the
like,
sheriff couldn't see any of it.
well, then like the whole town watches the UFO thing take off, and then he's like, just fuck off and go look in the door there. So the sheriff looks and is like, oh wow,
Holy
I just like when they're all coming out, they're all getting a round of applause from the people behind the barrier.
Oh, it's these characters,
So
the
Chris-
ones we've come to
12
love.
people.
Yeah,
And Crispin Glover is standing there, just like slowly clapping.
Yeah.
He's like, he's sort of got this smile on his face until all 3 of the 3 that got re-enlarged come out, and he realizes that Bunny's not coming out, and he's like, "Where's Bunny? Where's Bunny?"
Yeah, and they cut inside to her, and she's still in the jar.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's where they end it.
Yeah.
But right before that, the newscaster guy tries to interview Dan and Martha Quinn, who are now a couple.
They have
bonded
they
over
have.
their shared hatred of Audrey 2 monsters.
Yes, they are about to bone.
Yeah.
They also immediately made out as soon as they got out of the door.
Oh yeah, they're like, we're free.
Yep. Yeah. But
And we're
he puts-
free of infectants.
Yeah.
But he puts Humble puts the microphone in his face, and he goes, "Get that microphone out of my fucking face." And that's the last thing we hear from him.
He just looks like he is so offended. He's just like, my stars, I can't believe you said that to me. And yeah, he just looks on like for the rest of the. It's like, what did you say? Yeah.
Yeah.
Perd Hapley
But-
was upset.
But yeah, they go, "Where's Bunny?" And they fade out on Bunny screaming and hitting the little jar.
Yes.
I think it's. I can't
Yeah,
even
that-
possibly go high.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then credits with some of their amazing, terrible songs.
Mr. Cool.
Mr. Cool by Psychotic Symphony, the second worst song.
I was gonna say, of all the fucking bands to bring back, they bring back goddamn Psychotic Symphony.
Yeah.
Like, I would have been fine with hair metal band. I even would have been fine with the Presidents of Nirvana vinyl.
Yeah.
What about the Blue Oyster Cult?
Oh, sure.
But yeah, no, they have Mr. Cool by that shit band, and yeah, that's bad. But so credits end, and then because this is the Full Moon Cinematic Universe,
Yeah.
Yeah.
fade back up.
Tim Thomerson has to recruit everybody to
Yes,
the
and
Full
so
Moon Avengers.
you got little Doll Man,
Doll Vengers.
Trying to hitch a ride on the side of the road.
and he can't be seen because he's a tiny man.
Yeah.
But he looks up and he sees Parumph or whatever the fuck the name
He's
is.
20 miles from Pahuda.
Pahuda. And he just voiceovers. Like, they couldn't even record him talking to himself. He voiceovers. I heard about that little lady who's got shrunk in that. Maybe she'd like some Doll Man.
Yeah, he goes, "He's only a foot tall. It's gonna be a rough life for her.
Yeah.
But I got one thing that'll cheer her up. A visit from the Doll Man."
It just cuts to.
And he puts on his sunglasses.
Yeah, he does. And then you get like a James Bond look for the continuing adventures of Doll Man coming soon.
No,
and
before
then,
that, you get like a music
well, it
cue.
happens over
Oh,
that.
Okay.
While that's on the screen, you get the
You get a music cue that's like part shaft, part. I don't know. It's just like, Dull Man.
Doll Man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Doll Man's going to get that lady because finally he can get with a
Yeah,
lady
he's
who's
got someone his size.
Doll Man size. So here's another alien in our movie. Dollman.
Dollman.
He's been walking the earth looking for tiny ladies. Heard a rumor.
Yeah, he's made it from New York City to Pahuda, wherever
Pahuda.
Pahuda is, in some desert. So he's made it far enough.
Yeah.
Well, it's got to be west of the Mississippi.
I'm
he's
pretty
looking
sure
it
it's
up.
Texas.
He's looking.
Well, it's just because it's KDUL. Is the
Yeah.
deal.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, that's bad.
West of the Mississippi, caller, you're on the line. This is Art Bell on Pahuda Radio.
It's just how radio station letters work.
It is.
Yeah.
He's looking for some tiny Pahooters.
There are a lot of songs in here with lyrics,
There sure are.
but
You're
none
right.
earn a Stargrove.
No, they don't.
None are about the actual bad channels.
I kept thinking that the hair metal one was going to turn, but
Yeah.
it never did.
No.
Because like they were talking like something covering the earth in green. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, are you talking about the
Huh?
shit? No, they're not talking. They're
No,
just talking
they're
shit.
about trees.
Are you talking about the shit?
Yeah.
Nope.
No,
No, they are not.
they're just talking shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no Stargrove.
However,
Does that guy get an ensign?
He freaked out pretty good.
There's a lot of freaking out in this movie.
Yeah.
You're talking about the guy in the beginning.
yeah,
that-
the electrician or whatever the hell he was.
yeah, you can give him an ensign if you
Yeah.
want.
I mean,
I think
I
when he
think
ripped
he-
open his shirt,
yeah.
Yeah.
I'll support it.
because
It
that
was-
was
it
a
was a
good
good
30
ensign.
seconds of just like, what the hell is on me?
I love that he called it cooties.
Yes.
Well,
he
yes, that.
And once they got to the hospital.
I'm gonna.
Stay away, Doc. I
At the
got
very least,
cooties.
I'd give it an honorary ensign for calling it cooties.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, you know.
I got cooties and got cooties and
Cooties.
Pahuda.
Yep. So we got an ensign award.
Yes. Very good.
Good job,
Good
bad
job.
channels.
Well played,
Yes. Nicely done.
gentlemen's.
All right, somebody rate it for reals.
Okay. BJ, go ahead.
I can go.
Yeah.
I hated this.
I had no idea.
Really?
And the process of describing this movie, the way it's described, is so much better than actually watching it.
That's why we do
Like,
this.
it's 100 times better than watching it. Easily. I award you 3 bags, and may God have mercy on your soul. Bad channels. I don't know if it was the mood or what, but none of it connected with me. Like, maybe 5% of this movie connected with me, and just everything about it annoyed me, just from front to back. There might have been a couple laughs, but everything about it. And I know that you guys, well, at least Chuck liked it. Chuck was laughing his merry way through this movie. Like, every 3 seconds, Chuck was just giggling about. And I think that's fantastic. I'm glad you enjoyed it. But I could not stand it. I mean, it's not the worst thing I've ever seen. It's not a 5 bags movie, but it's pretty bad for me.
All right.
You're allowed to like it.
But please tell us how much you like it, Chuck.
All right.
All right.
4 jocks.
Bad Channels is a bad movie.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's by definition the thing we do. It's structurally so bizarre. Like, it's unlike anything we've done. Now, I wasn't here for Forbidden Zone, so I can't compare. But as far as, like, formulaic, it is not.
No.
It is absolutely not that. It goes in odd directions. Like, when the first music video kicked in, we were all just like, what? And, you know, once you realize that's going to be the premise for the next 20 minutes, you're like, huh, that's awfully unusual. But they found a way to both pad their runtime and get local bands into their movie and get some experience shooting music videos, I guess. I mean...
Not good local bands.
No, the bands are bad. There are things that were supposed to be funny in this that I laughed at, and there were things in this that were fucking terrible that I laughed at. This movie, I hate to say it's fine, but I thought it was fine. I don't think it's as bad as BJ thought it was. I think it's
obviously
once you get past the first 15 to 20 minutes, I think it's incredibly watchable. Just on a what the fuck factor of just like, what is happening in this? I wasn't like invested in it or anything, but I thought it was goofy enough to not bore me, and that's the last thing I ever want to do when we watch these things, be bored. So 1 jocks. I will give it 1 jocks. I think it's just recommendable enough to say, if you want something really off the wall, watch Bad Channels. It's better than Demonic Toys. Demonic Toys was fucking boring. And the Demonic Toys were in that for 6 minutes. This had, you know, all their dumb alien bullshit throughout the last 2/3 of the movie. Demonic Toys could not get its shit together and focus on what it was. So I give it credit for that. Cool. It's got Blue Oyster Cult.
Yeah.
Not good Blue Oyster Cult,
I
though.
don't care.
Why would you go, oh, yeah, it had the bad version of something that could be cool. That's the only part of your critique that I'm critiquing.
Okay, that's fine. Fair enough.
Are we just going around the table in order? All right. Yeah, this is a tough one because, like, if I could, like, trim down the first 15 or so minutes, like, to practically nothing, and kill Psychotic Symphony out of the movie entirely, I think I would, like, have a whole different opinion. Like, I think this would be, like, in the high jocks range. Because, yeah, I'm kind of with you. Like, it's none of it is good, but it's interesting. And it held my attention. And it's like, if you could just cut out stupid, I don't even know what you call it, clown band, that alone would, like, gain at least a whole other jocks rating just by them being gone. Okay. I could even deal with a slow intro because, I mean, its slow intro was still even better than Demonic Toys' slow intro. Because that was just dark and you couldn't see anything. At least this one, you could see everything that was happening. That was
I'll give it that.
I'll give it that.
Yes, it was lit.
It was not lit.
It was lit, fam.
Yeah. But yeah, I think I'm gonna have to settle on the same rating. Like, I'm gonna just say 1 jocks because I think this is a thing that should be seen if you're watching bad movies. Just know that, like, it's gonna have a slow ass intro. You're almost, I mean, like, Martha Quinn is the only one you can name from anything just because she was on MTV. She is so basically inconsequential to this movie.
Yeah.
Like, she fades in and out of the movie so much that it's just like, why that character would you go get anyone you can name? Like, it's just strange to me. Like, that, you know, I'm not saying she's like a huge get. I'm just saying, like, it's the only person in this, unless you're like in the Full Moon franchise, you can go like, oh, that's the person that was in this, and they were, like you have to be in like this Charles Band like mindset of like, I get this.
Maybe they thought she would become like a
better
Charles Band alum.
Oh, sure.
And just be one of those day players who would be in all the things.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, like between that and the clown thing, it gets knocked down some because that shit's bad.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I kept wanting to go higher than one Jocks, but I can't do it.
You can go lower.
I could, but I think it's not. To me, like once you get into bags territory, it's like I'm saying, don't ever watch this. Even if it's one one bag. To me, it's saying one bag is like saying it's not the worst thing you're ever going to see, but don't watch it. Mm-hmm. And I have to say, watch this. However, like I said when we first started, you have to be in a mood for this movie because if you're not, you're going to reject it like a bad kidney. You're just going to get it out of me. Get away. And I caught on its wavelength, but it took a long time, but I love the fact that like the music videos feel like, obviously they're bad songs first of all, but then they feel like somebody who had never heard that type of music saw 30 seconds worth of a video and then was like, we need to make that video.
Yeah.
We need to make it look like that. And they just had a 30-second clip to go from. And they're like, all right, well, let's just expand that to a full video. And that's kind of how, like, all of them are. Mm-hmm. And I'm still, like, that third one is with the nurse is just incomprehensible. I don't even know how someone makes that.
Can I say I was angry that there wasn't one for Martha Quinn?
I kind of was, actually.
Yeah.
Like they just zapped her and they didn't do the whole gimmick. That pissed me off. Like they'd already established it, so I'm like, all right, let's see what they do for Martha Quinn. I want to see what dumb band they drag
and that's
into
the thing.
this.
When they had 4 jars and they had sucked the first woman in, I'm like, well, there's 3 other women who have speaking roles in this movie, so I think we know who's all getting sucked into jars. But yeah, they didn't give her one.
Well, they could have taken the Russian correspondent too.
Yeah,
I guess
she spoke.
she did.
She
spoke.
did. She
She would.
You're right.
She would have been easy to get because she was already around other, RF materials. Mm-hmm. She was in a TV station. So I don't know.
Yeah, but there's just very much that early 90s like home video vibe to all of this that kind of you just don't get anymore. And that's why I could say one Jocks. It's not great and it's going to take a while to get going, but if you're on its wavelength, you're probably going to go a little higher.
I will add a caveat to an addendum to my to my rating. Mm-hmm. And in the interest of fairness, you've made a good point that if you are a bad movie scholar or connoisseur or collector of any sort, you should probably watch this. But if you are in it for entertainment, steer ye away. Here there be monsters. Still 3 bags, but just understand where that particular qualification lies.
Yeah, fair enough.
No, totally fair.
All right. Well, I think we've discussed bad channels enough.
Yes.
Let us take ourselves to a break.
Yes.
Yes, let us do that.
Let's do that.
Let's take ourselves
Before we become a bad channel.
Right.
Bad
No, we're
horror
already
channel.
there.
That's right, because we're the bad movie fiends. Hula Gary Busey makes everything better. It depends on what level of Busey would be involved. It'd be either a 1 or 6 Jocks increase.
Bad movie.
He would not have been in bad channels. He was making motion pictures at this time.
cocaine disappear.
Well, he was in major motion pictures in 91, 92, so he hadn't had, his 3rd motorcycle accident yet. Hi.
So his face was still symmetrical at that point.
Yeah, half of it hadn't melted off. Fine, Gary Busey.
So I know you and I have stuff.
Nope. That's all I got.
Chuck. Oh yeah, you're knee deep in vids.
I'm fucking ass deep in that.
Oh man.
Wow.
Go ass deep.
Yeah.
Yeah, talk about talk about your lane closure.
Oh, hey, look. I got an email notice that BMFcast is live now.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. We're doing a live stream.
that's cool.
It's right there on my phone. I got evidence.
We gotta figure out something for that
Evidence.
image.
What's that?
We gotta figure out something for that.
What do you mean? Like redoing it? Or what? Or
Well,
the beginning a stream image.
Just that thumbnail for the videos that, because I don't know why the no quarters one just go like when it processes it just picks a screen grab. I don't know why ours sticks with that.
Cookies, y'all.
What? Where'd you get cookies?
Come to the dark side. I was told we had cookies.
Which particular weird quirk of the internet are you discussing?
Are they pot cookies?
The thumbnail when it
Never
emails
say.
about the BMFcast live stream
Are they peanut
is
butter?
just that.
They are peanut butter.
Whereas no quarters, apparently it does a screen grab of some kind.
Forks on that? Yes, they did.
At least that's what Chuck claims,
Hey,
but
it's-
I don't think
these
so.
are Home fucking made.
Home fucking made.
What kind are they?
Maybe
Peanut
it's just-
butter.
Peanut butter, huh?
They're
No,
fucking good.
he's gotta lose 5 pounds.
I know.
What? Oh, sorry.
He's living well.
Nope. Can't have them.
They don't have any flour in them. If that makes it.
All right.
They're extra dense.
Yeah, do it so you get more peanut butter, less bullshit.
Give me one of them. Just do it. Fuck it. Who needs to save $400 on their insurance? Not me. $400 cookie right here. Look at this motherfucker.
Man, not worth it.
That is a peanut buttery smelling cookie. It's a good bouquet. Oh.
Oh, clear your cookies, people.
Yeah, but as I learned, like, basically I've cut sugar out for the past week, and it's day 5. Like, you can do well, you can get by on like minimal sugar. Day 5 is when your body goes, listen, motherfucker, sugar, and then you eat like an apple or a banana, and it's like, you fucking idiot, that's not processed sugar, that doesn't count.
Get me pixie
Yeah, get me a, just fucking snort it right now. Just grind up a Hershey bar and fucking snort that shit. We need it.
Doing some fucking rails and pixie sticks.
Yeah.
I need 5 pounds of Dixie Crystals, you piece of shit.
Yep.
I don't need a fucking bump. I need a head-on collision.
Yeah, your body's just like, get a spoon, get a needle, boil up some sugar, and get it the fuck in your body right now.
Anybody else want more cookie? No? Jack?
What?
Want more cookie?
No, I'm good.
I'm not going to ask you. You're already,
No, it's good. This is all I needed.
all right.
That's all I need. I need my chair.
I just need one to take the edge off, man. No, I'm great.
Oh, hey,
Fucking great.
just eat like 5 Fiber One bars tomorrow. You will shit everything out, and you'll be fine.
That'll be good.
I already tried that.
Try it again.
It just makes you fart a lot.
You keep
honestly.
you keep putting. Well, there's always the nuclear option. A
What?
box of Imodium chocolates.
Oh, no.
You gotta get the lax.
I could have told you the method that like the Marines used to lose weight. It's fucked up, but it works. You eat nothing but popcorn for like a fucking 2 weeks, and then
Yeah.
do like X-Lax or something. And
Oh man, I bet it just scrapes it out of you.
oh yeah,
All those fucking popcorn kernels just screeching through your intestines.
Gathering up all the material as it
Yeah, they're like poop Langoliers.
hopefully they're not dangoliers.
Well, if you use X-Lax, you won't have anything. You might have your intestines dangling, but
Sugar and water.
Nope.
It's like a
Yeah.
it's more like an egger soup.
Also, I found after like the 3rd day, I had gained weight. And I was like, oh, this is sweet. This is working.
Oh, I need
It's the fourth and fifth day it dropped. Yeah.
Ah.
It's like that residual effect of your body processing whatever you put in it. It's like, oh, okay.
It's like, wait, we haven't seen sugar in 24 hours. Pack this shit away.
Yep.
It's getting dangerous.
I did lose a lot the day that I almost gave myself a heat stroke working in the yard on Sunday. Yeah, that was fun.
That sounds like fun.
But yeah, I dropped about 4 pounds doing that. So
That's good. That's good.
get all that water weight out of you.
Right.
Get it, yeah.
That's what you need to do. You need to put on one of those Missy Elliott suits from now until you weigh in. Eat 4 Fiber One bars, a box of Imodium tablets.
Yeah.
Good to go.
Got to make
No,
wait.
well, good to go. Yes, but
Good to go to
good to
go.
not get out of the bathroom.
Good to go to Jesus.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Good Jesus.
Yeah. I just spotted the cat walking on the top there. It's rare that I can see that angle properly. All right.
I want to say this.
Do you?
Yes.
All right.
I appreciate you guys and our little community here.
Mm-hmm.
Because I made a...
But
No, there's no
Okay,
but. There's no
okay.
but. But fuck you guys, I'm out.
Yeah.
But I quit.
No, but I made a is my cover band joke not too long ago, and it just went over like a lead balloon. Nobody understood the format of the joke, and that it just nobody got it. And I was so
What do you mean,
sad.
like in public or with
with people that aren't us? Yeah.
What was it? What was the situation first? Or
So
what was the line that somebody said?
okay, so I had said we're talking about Horizon Zero Dawn or another game, and like I was like, I wish it had the stealth rock option, like Horizon Zero Dawn and other games where you have a stealth thing, and then I came back with Quiet Riot is my stealth rock cover band, or stealth rock is my Quiet Riot cover band.
There it is. Good one.
And it was okay.
Yeah,
But
well, I mean that's a broad mass appeal one.
yeah,
You're not going
right,
to
right. It's
You're not going to like, oh, you need to know some music before you
exactly. It was a good
Yeah.
Seinfeld joke. Everybody's
Exactly,
everybody's gonna chuckle.
Yeah.
Fucking nothing. Nobody fucking.
yeah.
Yeah. It was frustrating. I was disappointed.
I don't know the whole origin of the cover band. Like I don't know who first started that shit, but I mean, some masters of it are Paul and Storm.
I was gonna say.
Yeah,
I
I thought it was
Paul.
Paul and
Yeah.
Storm.
I mean, they're fucking masters of it. But
Where have they been?
where have they been?
Did they quit Twitter?
No,
Twitter quitters.
Twitter quitters.
no, I follow them. They tweet all the time.
quitters.
Do they?
They even that's where I got the idea to do like the who's talking bracket thing because they use one Twitter account,
Right.
And so depending on who's talking, they sign it with their SRP. Like
That's
salt
true.
and pepper.
Salt and pepper.
Salt and pepper. And we're in effect. Want you to push it good.
Thanks,
Anyway,
Chuck.
You're welcome.
well. Oh right, do more things. I was enjoying.
Do it.
I was enjoying break conversation so much I forgot we have a thing to do for. Woo! All right, welcome back.
Hey,
BMFcast, second half.
Second half.
Yep, we have some additional talking to do.
Oh,
That's correct.
Sure.
So what all do we have? You haven't watched. You've been.
I'm busy.
Yeah,
Chuck's
You're
making
deep-
his video
you're knee-deep-
series.
Knee-deep making some videos.
Yeah.
BJ's been.
BJ caught up on Game of Thrones. Now he doesn't give a shit about it anymore.
No,
so
I am absolutely 100%
all the
watching.
shits are given. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But we're not going to talk about it because that would be spoilery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
So,
Yeah.
what do we got?
I guess that. Do you believe in magic?
Tyrion
Yeah.
fucked a dragon.
I finished up Harry Potter.
Ooh. Speaking of magic.
Yeah, Magic Journeys with dragons and shit.
And I decided to watch the whole fucking series
What?
in the last week and a half,
Man.
basically.
Holy shit.
Well, I couldn't remember, like, I knew that I had read, well, listen, audiobook version of the, further in the books than I did the movies. I couldn't remember if I made it to readings, listening to book 6 and only watched up through movie 5, or if it was movie 4 and book 5 that listening to.
Yeah.
Turns out it was movie 4, book 5. I hadn't seen the 5th movie.
Okay.
So, like, as soon as it started, I was like, oh, yeah, I haven't seen this. So I guess I'll give a quick recap of it to catch
Yeah.
up because you've got Deathly Hallows Part 2 is the only one left that you haven't talked about, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Very quickly because that's 8 movies we got to cover. Philosopher's Stone, Sorcerer's Stone, whatever you want to call it, depending on where you are.
The first one.
The first one. It's not a bad movie. It's just nothing fell into place right yet. Like all the actors were very childlike, and
They were too young.
They were too young. They just hadn't had any coaching, and I think by the second one they were like, "Yeah, get these kids some acting coaches. They've got 7 more movies to do. Like, we can't Jake Lloyd this shit for the whole series." So it's not bad. It's just rough. Like, nobody feels like they fit their part quite right. Everything just feels kind of like, I don't know, is this going to be a hit? You know, like it didn't feel like they were fully invested in everything.
Yeah,
yet.
it does have that feeling.
Yeah. So it's not a terrible movie. It's just like it's weak because of that, and like nothing feels like it gels yet. I know I'm going to be extremely in the minority, but I think I could almost say the second one is my favorite. I know a lot of people come to the series for the high stakes, the high wizard stakes that you get towards the end of the series.
Yeah.
Hi, wizard steaks.
Tasty wizard
Is
steaks.
that where wizards get blazed and like racehorses?
Yeah.
So they're packed in like dry ice, and they show up at your door.
Oh,
The high wizard steaks.
Okay, so they're just impregnated with weed
Yeah.
by wizards.
Sure.
Aren't we all?
But what I like most about this series, because to me the concept of young wizards in a wizarding school and following them from the time that they enter to the time that they finish, that's an interesting enough story in and of itself. You can have wizard adventures without having this big like world-ending event, Marvel style. You know, like it's sort of like if I feel like Chamber of Secrets is good because it's like, here's a mostly self-contained thing. Yeah, we're going to drop some hints for the big stuff that's coming, but like, number one, the actors are all vastly improved in the second one. Like, they went to some good ass acting classes in between those first 2 movies. Like, in particularly, like, I mean, like Robbie Coltrane is good as Hagrid in the first one, but he still feels a little off. Like, everything about the first one just feels just that little bit off. Like, he fucking nails it in the second one. And like, and Emma Watson is like so much better in the second one. Like, there are multiple like nearly perfect scenes, especially between the 2 of them. Like him, the scene where he's like Hagrid is consoling Hermione about like the, derogatory wizard slang that is thrown at her way. It's fucking great. Like, on both their parts, like, it is so good. And I don't know. It's just like, it's kind of like my sweet spot, because it's like, there's some crazy shit happening, but it's like, it's not world ending. It's just like, it's personal, and they still have time to like go to class and deal with shit. And I don't know. I just really like it. It's good.
Well, it's kind of. I think it's the one out of all of them that balances that the best. Where it's got the whole like, shit's going down, but I got to get an A in this
Right. Yeah.
quiz.
Because like, I mean, second one is good. I mean, it's Alfonso Cuarón making
Third
third one. Yeah. Third one. Yeah. I'm saying I'm moving on now,
Okay,
talking about the third one. Like, Prisoner of Azkaban is also really good. It's like 2, 3, and 4 are almost my sweet spot of like level of school hijinks versus world-ending shit. And obviously that one's made by a now master filmmaker. I mean, I guess he was building towards it at that time. He was still making good stuff, but like, so it's really well directed. It's interesting because, I mean, you've got this like misdirection plot the whole movie about who you think the villain is and all that kind of stuff. So that's interesting. You got continually adding good actors. I mean, high caliber actors in Gary Oldman and David Thewlis, like great additions to the whole cast. You have new Dumbledore, which I think we've all said, like, number one, casting Richard Harris was just bad planning. You knew you were gonna make knew you were gonna make 8 movies. Like, don't cast a dude that's like 85 years old when you start the first one. Nope. Like, that's just really, guys. Like, you weren't really thinking that one through.
That's age discrimination, Harley.
It's planning.
It's just good manners.
Yeah. So, I mean, again, like, I mean, Michael Gambon is great. Like, I mean, I feel like he kind of walks in and mostly nails it. But again, I feel like there's that ramp up thing. Like, I feel like he's not as good in 3 as he is later. Like,
By the end, it's like,
he's
I could not imagine Richard Harris doing like
the final scenes in the last one.
like the final Dumbledore scenes.
Yeah. So there's a little bit of that. Like, so it's not perfect, but like I said, 3 is still really good. We're up to 4. 4, it's weird. Like 4 is strange because it's kind of the one where I like it less. Like it's my least of that sweet spot 2, 3, 4 area because it feels like right off the bat everyone's like, "Fuck you, Harry Potter." It's just like we feel like everyone like turns that switch of like, "Fuck you," just how dare you? And he's like, "What? I didn't even." And he's like, "No, fuck you, Harry Potter." Like it's just like everyone flips that switch, and it's like it takes half the movie for people to come around and be like, "Oh yeah, maybe he didn't actually really do the thing," you know. So like that's a weird. That's a just a weird thing that goes on throughout that entire movie.
The only reason I appreciate that is because like the first 3, everybody's just
Oh yeah, they're all up on
like
his
they're
wall.
all starstruck by Harry Potter.
Yeah.
You know, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, Harry Potter, you're the best at everything." So it's kind of refreshing to have one where they're like, "No, you know what? Fuck this guy.
Yeah, you know what?
We think we like Cedric Diggory better."
Man, well,
Sure.
I gotta say, going back, like he's pretty fucking good in that role. Like, I mean, I 100% bought Twilight as like, holy shit, yeah, he's cool guy kid. Like, go, yeah, he's probably a better school mascot than Harry Potter.
If he hadn't been in Twilight, I think it would have been a much better role for him, for me. Because it kind of painted my view of him
Sure,
with the wrong brush.
So still, I think 4 is good. 5 is 5 where you have the guy that does all the rest of them. Is that his first one?
Yes.
Okay, so David Yates.
David Yates.
Yeah, like 5 feels mildly not problematic because like problematic now means something different. It's just like there's something off about 5, and I can't. That's the one I just really can't put my finger on what I didn't enjoy fully about that one. Like I know it's the one where like shit really starts going down, like the big shit.
Yeah.
But like by the time it hit that point in that movie, I just like it's weird because it felt like it was still leaning heavily into like interpersonal school relationship stuff, but then it's like at this point it's like the tables almost flipped the other way. It was like, no, there's major shit going on. Like maybe you shouldn't care about who you're gonna like kiss or take to a dance or whatever. It's like deal with some shit, you know? Like it felt like the balance was strangely shifting where it's like now you need to stop caring about this. So
Yeah.
so yeah, 5, I don't know, didn't love it. 6 I mean 5 and 6 are just like they're kind of weird. Like I totally get where they're going and what they need to do, but like they just didn't rope me in, and I can barely put my finger on what I was kind of meh about in 5 and 6. Like I get, you know, I see the map and I see where you're going with this. It's just like feels weird how little I kind of care. Now, 7 part 1. I think it helps having never seen these. And like this, even also
not having read the book either.
Now I'm past the point that I don't even know what's going to happen, and you constantly everyone describing it as like, oh, it's just them arguing in a tent for an hour or two, and I was like, all right, this is gonna be a boring ass movie. I fucking loved 7 part 1. Like I think because my expectations were so lowered, like the 5 and 6, like I was like really worried about what David Yates was going to do with that series when he came on because it was like, man, like those first 2 ones just feel fucking paint by numbers. Like, just bring a guy in who's just the Brett Ratner of the wizarding world. Like, I will just get this shit done and on time and under budget. You know, like they just felt like they brought in a guy like that was his qualifications. And then 7 is fucking bizarre because like if they had shot the Dark Tower movie, now I haven't seen it. If they shot the Dark Tower movie looking like half this movie looks, it'd be fucking amazing. Because like this movie is like
They didn't.
post-apocalyptic Western. Like there is so much interesting shit happening in the way this movie looks. I know there's a long stretch of the movie where they're arguing in a tent or in the woods near a tent, but I don't know. I still really enjoyed it just because like visually it was like, oh shit, okay, you can actually do something, guy, and I am fascinated by this. Plus, I think it helps that besides the final battle and the last one, which we're going to talk about in a second, I think this has the best action sequence of the series. Is the Harry escape in the very beginning of the movie? Huh?
Eh?
Yeah. Well, it wasn't. Didn't mean it like that. Where it's like the multiple Harrys. Like they're like, all right, we'll disguise you, and we're just going to fucking misdirection in all directions. Like, take care of this. Because what's so good about that scene is like every movie has that like getting the band back together part, and this one feels like it's about to have that, and it's like, nope, gotta go, bye. You know, and it's just like fucking action scene, and it's good. Like it's a really good action scene. So I was pleasantly surprised. Like now we're going to talk about the last one. I'm going to go and spoil. My 2 highest rated ones are Part 2 and 7 Part 2, with 7 Part 1 being just behind it.
Okay.
All right.
So I will let you talk about 7 Part 2 first because you I did all that.
Yeah, I mean, I really liked 7 Part 2 because it gets to the point where it's, okay, things are happening, and things are constantly happening, and it's not dicking around and not just treading water like 6 and 7 Part 1 are doing. You know, and that's... Though it does... my problem with this one, which I'd say it was like 4.5 star, it didn't get the full 5 out of me, is because there's a lot of stuff that basically just happens off camera, and they come back and they're like, oh yeah, they're dead.
Oh yeah.
You know, you're like, oh, wait, but you know, and it's long shots of like crazy stuff going on, and you know, and then somebody be like, yeah, well, he's dead now. It's like, well, wait, you didn't, you know, and this is stuff that's like happens in the book, like it's played out, and then even some of the deaths that happen on screen have no build up whatsoever. Like especially one of the villains who, like, you've been waiting a long time for this person to get theirs, and it's like a scene where it's suddenly like, okay, these 2 people are in the same room, and okay, now that one's dead, you know, and it's kind of like, all right then. You know, it's just, it's kind of, it's very odd in that regard, but it's also, it feels the most like just big Hollywood action movie, you know?
Yeah, but like, I don't know. It still very much felt like it had the heart of Harry Potter. Like,
yes,
here's
because Hogwarts is a place again,
right?
Even though it's mostly a set in this one,
kind of, yeah,
because it's not really a school anymore.
Like my only defense of like why I find that it's interesting to kind of kill semi-major characters off screen is that when they present other semi-major characters in peril, you're like, oh shit, and then when they survive, you're like, fuck yes. Like,
Yeah.
like it's sort of like, you know, the stakes are so big, it's like we can't even be bothered showing you this, and then like when they do focus on something, you're like, uh-oh, you know, like you just have this bad feeling going in. To me, it just painted this sense of dread. Like there was 100% dread from the 7-1 into 7-2. You know, I still don't even understand how you're supposed to call these things. Like, part 1 and part 2, it's stupid when you have a number, a part of the series, and then you have parts of it. It's yeah.
But I think yes, it's good, but I think the biggest thing that bothers me is Snape gets such the shaft character-wise throughout these, because in the books, like, he is a major character throughout, and it's just kind of like in the movies they're like, okay, toss him here, toss him here, toss him here, toss him here, and then like some of the biggest stuff and all the character building that happens for him, they kind of shove into one part right near the end. They're like, all right, here's that Snape stuff, and you're like, oh, this is why I should have been caring about Snape the whole time, where it's like in the books that's a lot earlier, and you're like, okay, I get it now, but instead they're like, info dump, boom.
They build his character slowly over the 7 books, as opposed to just kind of farting it out there.
Well, yeah, like I said, at the end of 6, they're just like, you know, he shows up, and he's like, all right, yeah, check it, boom, gone. You know, and it's like, wait, so much of that book was about you, and you're like in it for 10 minutes. Yeah. You know, and yeah.
It's like that thing in movies that I hate, and I can remember that movie Basic that was filmed here did this, to where you're made to think one thing about a character or a group of characters throughout the whole film, like these characters are evil, and then in the last second you're like, oh wait, no, they were good the whole time. And it's like, I can't erase the sensation that you built in me this entire time that I was not supposed to like that person, and now in the last 5 minutes I'm supposed to like that person. I you know, everything is a lie. So it would have helped if those movies had done what the books did earlier and given you that, because like towards the end you're just like, man, fuck that guy, and you're like, oh wait, no, don't fuck that guy. Everything's fine, you know. But
it's handled much better in the books, as you know, make that the fucking theme of Harry Potter the movies. Yeah, the books were better, you know. Sure. I mean, that's all you can ever keep saying is that was handled better in the books. You know, everything that you can complain about in the movies is like, well, yeah, the book addressed that, but you know, because you're watching the movies, it's different. And
So learn to read, kids.
well, yeah, and a lot like the big scene at the end of 6 that played way different when I read it in my, you know, seeing it in my head, reading it in the book. Like the unlikely heroic character that's at the end of part 2 did not play out nearly as heroically and big deal as it did in the book for me. In the book, it felt like a huge, huge fucking deal, and the movie is just kind of like, oh yeah, this happened. You know, and you're like, fuck, dude. Like, that's one of like the main themes of the entire thing, and you just kind of like toss it in. I mean, you give him a slow motion shot and all that, but it's just like, I don't know. It feels a lot of stuff that just didn't work quite as well, but the whole final scene with Dumbledore, I think, did. I think that's one of the better scenes in the series, even though it's more Dumbledore being Ridley rather than just fucking saying what he wants to say.
What has 3 legs in the morning?
Well, yeah. Well, when my wife's like, "Wait, is he saying Snape was Harry's dad?" And I'm like, I don't think so, but I don't know because I'm pretty sure that's definitely not what they're saying. But I see why you would think that from what happens in this scene. And yeah.
James Potter was a cock.
Yeah, there you go. Yes, I remember that scene.
Dumbledore out.
Yep. Yeah, but I mean, I like that one a lot, and I think it satisfies. You know, it basically gives everyone, aside from Snape, I think it gives all the characters the send-off that you're kind of expecting out of them.
What the shit are you doing?
There's a critter under your chair.
Is there?
Yeah.
Like a live one?
Yeah.
Is it a thing I should care about?
I don't know. It was a little crawly thing.
Yeah, it's a roach.
Your cat was
Is
like, give me that thing.
Like a big ass one?
No, little one.
It's probably one of those little beetles that's not actually.
Yeah, it actually probably was a little beetle.
Yeah, that's your cat was interested. in that.
kill me, mate.
I want to go
just
outside.
I'm just trying to get in your computer where it's warm. I just want to be in an octopus's garden.
I've got a song about an octopus.
I'm gonna write a song about a computer fan.
Paul's a big fat cunt.
I'm the three-eyed raven now.
Get out of the computer.
But I'm the three-eyed raven.
Fucking Forrest Gump.
Woo! Good time.
Literally Forrest.
Yes. Gump of the forest.
Gump of the forest.
What were we talking about? Oh, Harry Potter.
Harry Potter.
Yeah, I mean, what did you think, Harlow? You kind of
Yeah, I mean,
you didn't get too much into it before I took over here.
No. I mean, I mean, I'm flying in blind to the last 2 books. So, yeah, I mean, part 2 gave me pretty much everything I needed to like wrap up. If I had to find a complaint and probably why it would like it didn't get 5 stars from me on like Letterboxd is, I know it was in the book, but that like 19 years later thing is fucking stupid. Like it's not necessary. Like, and it's done poorly in the movie.
It was dumb in the book too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I believe there's a conversation in that they omit, which kind of
justifies its existence.
Yeah,
something. Okay.
There's a character he sees there that, you know,
there was
says
somebody
that he says he has a conversation with.
Okay,
They
were there, but it just was like, oh, if you were paying attention,
Yeah.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about. So
Yeah,
I'm
and
just
it
attempting to remain spoiler.
Yeah, it makes
semi-spoiler
more
free.
sense with that part of it.
Sure.
So
Yeah, it's prosthetic wise and everything. It doesn't.
Oh,
it looks
yeah.
dumb. Like I don't understand why they think everyone has a completely, totally different nose when they age. Like they gave everyone a weird nose.
yeah.
Like how many people's noses like change shape as they age?
Noses do change shape.
But usually later in life, not from
Like yeah,
teenage years
not
to
in 20
30s.
years. I mean,
Yeah.
But you look at a lot
Depends
of
on how much
70-year-olds
drinking you're doing, W.C.
Yeah.
Fields.
okay, well they gave everyone a weird,
Yeah.
slightly off nose, and it's strange. But yeah, no, I mean, yeah, I mean the Matrixy ending part with Dumbledore is, I think, fucking great. You know, I mean, it felt very much like the go here and I will tell you things mystically, you know, part of the Matrix thing. But
Ooh.
I am Colonel Sanders. Yeah, I don't know. I dug it. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, I was straight up like almost cheering by myself at certain parts in that movie. So, yeah, like I said, to me, I would give 2 a slight edge, but I mean, they're almost neck and neck. Yeah, to me, 2 is just like, I just kind of wish that we could have had Harry Potter a series that was just, hey, it's Sweet Valley Magical High, you know, like just fucking like, it's weird enough that we're going through, you know, wizard school and, you know, teenage shenanigans like that. That's enough, and like with some mild mystery and Scooby ganging along the way.
Yeah. Well, or you know, could have been like a Buffy thing where it's like, there's crazy stuff keeps happening, but still got to go to school. You know, that was always the part I liked the best of the early books, is balancing all that. And that's why I think the last book is one of my least favorites, because it's basically they dropped out of school.
Yeah.
Like, school doesn't even matter anymore. And I mean, granted, that book checks in on them once in a while, whereas the movies were like, nah, just know the people are here and it sucked. You know? So I think the biggest missed opportunity out of all those movies is Snape. By far. Like, Snape got the short end of the stick, characterization-wise and just motivation-wise and all that, where they kind of touch on it, but it's a lot. It has so much more depth in the books that just never shows up in the movies. So, oh well.
Yeah. But no, I'm happy to have finally finished a giant series like that kind of been looming in the background. So, I think by next week, I will have watched the Fantastic Beasts movie, just to keep on the Potter train, or the Hogwarts Express, if you will.
There you go.
Yeah.
I may try to watch it before then.
Yeah.
Before all motivation to continue with those goes somewhere. But it'll be nice to watch something where I have no idea where any of it goes. Because was that a book first?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's like a 80 years before prequel thing, I think, or something like that.
Yeah, it's set in like the 18 or
1920s
early
or
1900s.
It's a book that exists in the Potterverse.
Yeah.
And then I think they wrote a book. I think they wrote the book.
Oh, they wrote Newt Salamanders,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Guide to Fantastic Beasts. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Like the Star Trek technical manual, basically.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. So you guys want some email?
Wow.
Absolutely.
What are those?
We've kind of slacked on the emails, but it happens, man. All right. Yeah, this is a backlog. Just gonna state that now. It's a backlog, so some of these may not be as timely as they would have been, but hey, that's life. First one up. What's so funny about that, Chuck?
Hey, that's life.
Hey, man, shit happens.
That's what you get.
C'est la vie.
Yeah.
Say what?
I don't know.
It's just the way it goes.
Right.
First one up's from Evan, who says, a modest proposal. Eating children not needed, 18th century literature jokes. Hail, junk film degenerates. A small idea was milling around in my head, so I had to write it and see what happens. I recently had a double feature serving of William Peter Blatty's The Ninth Configuration and The Exorcist III, Legion. Both films are considered underrated masterworks, and I'm glad they've risen beyond cult status in recent years. Afterwards, I thought of you guys. I won't recommend The Ninth Configuration because of its surreal existential context, and also cinephiles today hold it as untouchable. They'd be confused why a bad movie cast would dare tread on sacred ground. But this brings me to Exorcist III. Using the Shaft loophole argument, Exorcist III has some qualifications for your analysis. At the time, 1991 to be exact, the film was maligned and passed off as a quick cash-in. Coming after Exorcist Deuce didn't help either. It also has BMFcast alum Brad Dourif giving one of the most memorable villain performances on film. George C. Scott is equally amazing, but he was unfairly lambasted on release. It was even nominated for a Razzie for Worst Lead Performance. Mind you, this is the same jury that nominated Ennio Morricone's iconic music for The Thing for Worst Score, so chalk that up to their type of qualifiers. There's also great practical effects, sound effects, and a damn fine car chase, just to wet your lips with flavor. I really you like that.
Yeah.
Here comes the flavor.
You're gonna
Yeah.
wet your lips with
Yeah, just
flavor.
coating your lips with that flavor.
Was that a W? Was that WET or WHET?
Wet.
He wrote WET.
Okay, I'm just
Yeah.
curious.
Moist.
Yeah, so just lick them and get that flavor. I really apologize for the long letter, but this was a passion I couldn't ignore. Exorcist 3, I think, would make an excellent episode for debate, or even use it for a second half topic. Just to get the word out, Shout Factory has made an amazing Blu-ray restoration this year and shows they are doing the film gods' works. I hope you good giants will accept my offer. Crash and Burn Evan sent from my big bushy beard. That one's for you, Harlow.
Thank you. There was lots of big bushy beards in
Big bushy
Harry
beard.
Potter.
Yep.
Bushy beard.
Chuck, you were nodding like you have seen both of these films.
I have.
Yeah.
The ninth configuration, no, never for this show, no.
He agrees.
Yeah. Exorcist 3, I don't know.
Is that a case of like Godfather 3 kind of thing where it's like, this is a sequel to a thing that everyone really appreciates? And
Well, everyone hated it too.
well, I know, but
Yeah.
you see where I'm getting at,
Yeah.
though. They're like, this is part of the series. It's
He-
a higher standard.
At the time, they were just like, let's try and squeeze some money out of The Exorcist one more time, and it was everyone was just like, garbage. But he's right. Looking back, it's like Halloween 3. Everyone
Oh,
kind of
yeah.
shit on it for not being what they wanted it to be,
Yeah.
and then they've come around to it being what it is.
Yeah, and now everyone on Twitter just acts like they're the only one that appreciates
Like,
Halloween
have
3.
you guys seen Halloween 3? That movie's
Yeah.
great. It's like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That is the most overrated, underrated movie, I think, of all time.
So is it properly rated? Is that what it
Yes,
means now?
it is. It is. It is.
Halloween 3 has hit its equilibrium.
It is right in the middle.
It is whelmed.
Yes, it
Yeah.
is. It is a centrist. It is just right there.
It is now rated.
Yes. I don't know. Exorcist 3 might play well, but it's weird to just jump to an Exorcist 3. It's mostly not related, but kind of is, and that to me would be awkward. So,
Yeah.
I've never seen 3. Like I watched 2. Like I wish I liked John Boorman movies as much as I wish I liked what they were doing as good as they look.
yeah.
Like man, that guy can shoot a movie.
There are some amazing visuals in Exorcist 2, but that movie is boring as
Well, I'm just saying like Excalibur's the same way. Like I wish I liked that movie better.
Oh, I love Excalibur.
I didn't grow up with it, so
I didn't either. I came to it late, and
that
when I
movie
did
looks
see it-
amazing, but it's like what the fuck is
Yeah.
going on in this?
Never a good sign.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It would make for some interesting discussion, but I don't think we should do either one of those.
No. Okay. Got a real short one here from Christian. It says, Blade Runner 2049 talk. Do you think that Blade Runner 2049 will live up to the hype it's building and hold a candle to the original film or fall flat on its face? I'd love to know what you guys think. Christian.
I have no idea until I see it.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know. I thought most people were like kind of anti-hype about it for the most
I think
part.
cautiously optimistic are a lot of people
Yeah.
on that movie. It doesn't feel like, oh my god, Blade Runner.
The people that are making it, I think, is what's making it work.
Yeah.
I'm a little disappointed. Like, as soon as they announced it and said, hey, Harrison Ford's going to be in it, I was like, well, there goes any ambiguity from the end of the other one. Which is kind of feels like the point.
But also, again, we're at the point where what is the other one? There are so many
Yeah.
versions of that at this point. What the hell is
Yeah,
that first movie?
My boss, actually, he's like, you got a ton of movies. I'm like, yeah, I do. And he's like, do you have Blade Runner? And I'm like, I do. But I've got like the 5-disc set that has like 4 versions of the movie on it. And he's like, well, which one do I watch? And I was like, I don't know.
There's no way to tell.
So I went to the internet and I'm like, all right, Twitter, tell me, which one do I tell him? And Final Cut seemed to be the consensus.
I'd go with director's cut.
Yeah.
Yeah, first director's cut. That's one my
Yeah.
preferred one.
And that's what I originally was about to tell him. But I know a lot. Then there's plenty of people who are like, I actually like the narration of the theatrical cut. But
They're wrong.
yeah, yeah. But people, there are a lot of people that said Final Cut. So I
Yeah.
don't know.
I mean-
I don't think I've watched Final Cut now that I think about it.
Yeah, I like Harrison Ford's voice. I like the man speaking, but he's so bored in that narration, and it's so unnecessary too.
Yeah.
Like, it's just obviously they're like after. I mean, it's so very much a test audience. Like bring in Harrison, we got to record a voiceover, and he's just in typical Harrison Ford fashion is like, I'm doing a thing, and so
Yeah.
I don't want to
Harrison
be
Ford
here.
will let you know when he does
Yeah.
not give a fuck.
Yeah.
Even back then,
Yeah.
he let them know he did not give a fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm again cautiously optimistic, but
I liked everyone's criticism of him in the early trailers for this, where they're just like, "Hey, Harrison, we're going to put you in some fancy future clothes." He's like, "No, I'm wearing a gray T-shirt. That's it." And they're like, "Okay." It's the future, dude. You want to wear a future T-shirt? No, just put a gray T-shirt on me. I'll bring one from home.
yeah,
Yeah, I don't know. It's just, it's one of those things. I like I said, I'm one of those people. Like it won't diminish the original in any way for me. So bring it on. It might be good.
Yeah, give it a shot. The technology's there to really do something. I mean,
Yeah.
the first one still looks amazing visually.
Yeah.
And this one seems to be embracing that, especially with all the weird advertising and all that stuff.
yeah.
I have such a weird, like, I mean, I wouldn't even say love hate. Like, I love Blade Runner, but like there are things that just irk the shit out of about to me as well. Like the Christ allegory at the end. I mean, Christ. It's just so in your fucking
Exactly.
face.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like, dude, fucking get it. Like, really?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I guess I'm one of those people who I like Blade Runner, but I don't hold it on this pedestal that so many people seem to. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, I get it.
Yeah.
And it's pretty, and like, goddamn, that's a beautiful movie. And, you know, I wouldn't trade Rutger Hauer's speech at the end for anything, but, you know, it's kind of, I don't know. I just don't hold it like, oh my God.
I didn't grow up with it. I saw it once as a kid, and then once when I borrowed your Final Cut version.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
I don't even remember that.
Yeah.
That's
And
how long I've had that.
Yeah. That's I've seen it twice, and it was two different versions, and neither one stood out to me. I mean, it's good,
Yeah.
but I just don't have this reverence for it. That
Yeah,
a lot of people
I
have.
wouldn't. If it's bad, I'm not going to get offended like I was at Alien Covenant. You know, where
Yeah.
Alien Covenant, I was like, "Fuck, you, God damn it!" You know. Whereas this, if they're like, "All right, he wasn't a replicant; he's a real dude," you know, then I'd be like, "All right, whatever."
Yeah.
I think so.
Is it dead?
I think so.
All right, so yeah. Next up, we also got some voicemails, by the way.
Oh, okay.
So you might want to. The oldest one. You talking shit at the cat?
Yes.
He's talking shit at that cat.
I killed it, and then she walks up and pounces on it. Like, ah, I got you, and then just saunters off.
Okay, there's one from August 5th, I think. I'm not sure if that's a camp story.
Biff.
Okay, no, it's not. Okay. Yeah, August 5th is the oldest one that's one we'll do.
Okay.
Okay. So we got another one here from Julian from New Jersey. And this one is titled, Hey. I love reading titles when they just don't.
Hey.
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 It says, I saw Valerian in the City of Lost Children. Was that the name of it?
No.
No. I was gonna say-
City of a Thousand Planets.
yeah, I think he's fucking around. I was pleasantly surprised for the first 20 minutes or so. That movie starts fucking great. Imaginative world building, some solid little characters, some solid big sci-fi. I'd recommend anyone watch it. Anyone. Then it falls off a fucking cliff. When it lands at the bottom of the cliff, it gets its arm stuck under a big-ass rock. Valerian in the City of God has to gnaw off its own arm, and then we watch it try to crawl away on broken ankles, and then bleed to death. But, you can't look away that whole time. Every scene you say, how can this be a movie? How did they make this into a feature film? It's amazing. When you do watch it, oh man, you should. Keep an eye out for Rihanna's character, or more specifically, her absurd and oh, I'm not even going to get into that. Try not to get whiplash from the shift in tone. That's all I'm going to say about that part.
All right.
All in all, I enjoyed it more than I expected. I saw Dunkirk in the same evening, and I enjoyed Valerian more. But just because one was an absurd fever dream / CG nightmare sci-fi shit show, and the other was a masterfully executed 2-hour exercise in anxiety that might have left us with PTSD. What about you? What bad movies have left you feeling better than better movies? Keep up the wood gork. Julian from New Jersey. Thanks, Julian.
Oh man, the wood
I
gork.
had to cut a spoiler out of there.
Okay.
All right.
Movies, bad movies that made me feel good than better than good movies?
Oh
Is
man,
that what it was?
Yeah, shit like super fights.
Oh, yeah.
Look at anything that's got a 4 jocks or above rating.
Were we live streaming when we did Xanadu? Because
No.
oh
No,
god,
we
there was
weren't.
a
That was
there was a
before me.
huge there was a huge
That
smile
was a
on my face.
euphoric night.
Oh my god, yeah. And I've seen so many other like
We were
real
dancing
musicals.
in the studio.
Like seriously.
Yeah, that
I still thinking about Xanadu. Puts a little
It really does.
curls up the corners of my mouth.
Like seeing that the two bands coming together and the stage coming together for the first time. It's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Fusion.
Yeah, but I swear, so many of the schlocky kung fu movies that we've watched, I've kind of enjoyed better than like real ones.
Mm-hmm.
And there's, I don't know, something to be said for that.
I mean, okay, I don't know how real I'm about to be. I might drop the hottest of takes.
Oh shit!
But if I'm being honest,
Oh.
if I'm being 100% honest with my filmmaker self background,
Keep it 100.
the Fast and the Furious movies, man, even Fast 5, it's technically not a good movie. There's some dumbass acting
Yeah.
and all that shit, but god damn do I feel happy watching those.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, look, I'm just saying. Like,
Okay, yes.
I've
That may
talked
be
to
the
other
happiest-
film snobs, and I'm like, they're like, I wouldn't even watch. I tried to watch the first one, and it was just atrocious. And I'm like, watch fucking Fast 5.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, watch The Rock and Vin Diesel punch each other through walls, and tell me that's not great. And then that's not even the top action fucking scene in that movie.
Happened to me in the theater
Yeah.
with you guys, which is I went to that reluctantly, saying the first 4 movies fucking blow, but I'll go with you guys. Maybe it'll be fun. And I laughed out loud so loud during half the shit in that movie. Like I thought people were gonna turn around and like come at me. Like when they do the whole the bridge stuff and just fucking gravity defying bullshit, and it's just that might have been 6. Was that 6 where the tank?
Yeah, that's 6 with the tank.
Yeah.
Okay, well, there was still, even before the safe chase at the end of 5, there was some hot bullshit in 5.
Well,
where
5 starts off with the like
Them jumping off
jumping the
Yes.
car off of the cliff. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
just all you have to do is surf
Yeah.
the car, and you'll be fine.
but like in the theater with you guys, like
Totally
after,
forgot about Surf the Car.
so after Vin Diesel and The Rock have their fight, and then the bad guys show up and murder all of The Rock's guys, and then Vin Diesel goes over to The Rock, and they do that fucking arm grab handshake thing. I in the theater went yes. Like, because you saw it coming, you're like, do it, shake hands, big moment, and I just, yeah. That was, fuck those movies. But at that point, I'm like, I'm in. These are the best.
I don't know if we've all 4 been happier leaving a theater than leaving Fast 5.
Probably not. Probably not. But yeah, I'm just saying, like, keeping it real, they're not good movies.
Yeah.
They're great
And
movies.
I will still defend
Okay, they're
Too
not
Fast,
good
Too
films,
Furious.
You know.
Too Fast, Too Furious
You have to say
is
it, films.
stupid fun.
It's really stupid,
Yeah.
and it's so much fun.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah.
All right, let's do some voicemails.
Okay.
Voicemail.
There are 12 people watching. Check it out.
Hit play on the voicemail.
Are you going to want to set it up, or just
Okay,
is that it?
Okay, yeah, I'm done talking. Let's do some voicemails.
Okay.
Hey, BMFcast crew, this is Jay from Vegas, and I got a little story to tell, but it has a point. See, when I was in high school, I was a big fan of this group, little musical group you may have heard of called Slayer, and I had some friends in high school who were like, man, Slayer sucks, you should stop listening to Slayer, they're terrible. And, to kind of fast forward a little bit, I just got to my 3rd Slayer show in 2 years, so that kind of tells you where that went. But I was just kind of curious if anyone's ever tried to talk you out of something you loved, and if they were successful, or if, like me, they had absolutely no effect on you. And one more thing. Slayer!
Slayer.
Slayer.
What if people ever try to talk me out of? Oh, like literally everything.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a big fucking nerd, so like everyone's like, "How can you like that?" or "Why do you care so much about that?"
Table full of nerds.
Yeah.
Plus, like one we just talked about, Fast 5, the Fast and Furious series in general. Like, what do you like, just a bunch of dumb racing movies? I'm like, motherfucker, have you ever seen The Rock punch through a fucking brick wall, or bust himself out of a fucking cast to go save the rest of the Fast crew?
Yep.
Daddy's got to go to work.
To me,
Pharmacy
it's
Hill.
also liking the lesser liked James Bond movies.
Ah, yes.
When you like Chuck loves View to a Kill.
I
and
do.
I will every day be like, Chuck, you're fucking stupid. View
I
to a
don't
Kill's
care.
not good.
View to Kill is the best Bond
But you know,
movie.
but there's like so much I like in Moonraker, and people are like, no, Moonraker's shit. You know, and it's like, it's actually not. You know, and that's kind of, and like or people who hate Live and Let Die, and I'm like, no, Live and Let Die is fucking great. Man with the Golden Gun, I love that one too. And people are like, no, those are shit. You know, it's always interesting. Like we've talked about it before, but you know, like everyone looks for like people like the Bond movies for different reasons, and that's why there's so many varied ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only one I've never heard anyone stump for is Die Another Day. I'm pretty sure that's the. Chuck. Of course,
Really?
Chuck. Yeah, but
If anyone ever comes at you with a "how can you like," immediately you're not going to even entertain their discussion.
Mm-hmm.
Like if someone just is coming at like something you like, and they're like, "How could you possibly like?" It's like, dude, you're not going to convince me.
I guess that's the problem. Is like I want to like everything.
Yeah, sure.
Like I mean, I go into everything. Like, why would I waste my time with something I know I'm not going to like? Like, the entire concept of hate watching. Like, why? Why would I? You know, I sampled Twilight. You know, I don't need the rest of the series. It's not fucking for me.
Yeah.
You know, I don't need. I mean, I'll give something a try. I mean, you know me. I've watched the dumbest fucking things just because it's part of the zeitgeist or whatever. It's like. Yeah. I don't know shit about 50 Shades of Grey. I watched that shitty movie, and I watched it and was like, yeah, that shit's not for me. That's dumb.
I did the same thing. I'm like, I don't need to see any more of those because I understand it now, and it's garbage. So
I've discovered a really good way to, like, when somebody says that they like something that you just really don't like, and you're like, ugh, your immediate reaction is to recoil in horror and go, how could you fucking like that? Stop yourself, and instead of saying, how can you like that, go, why do you like that? And that actually that will turn your world around.
now I will say this,
and then you can tell them to go fuck themselves when you're done.
I think the best I've ever given is just like a meh, not for me.
Yeah.
Like that's what I usually rely. You know, because I mean, look, I work in the computer world. I do a podcast, and everyone is assaulting me on every side of, man, do you watch The Big Bang Theory? And I constantly have to go, I've watched it a little bit. It's not for me.
oh yeah,
I've tried it. It's not for me.
Anytime someone's like, "Oh, you like nerd things. You must like The Big Bang Theory." It's like, no, I don't. Must.
It's
well, it's the same thing with Sharknado. When people
Yes.
know that I do a
Yeah.
bad movie thing. They're like, "Oh, Sharknado, did you watch all of them?" I'm like, "No, but I'm not going to get into it with you because you would look at me like I'm a fucking crazy person when I talk about how they're not genuine bad movies and they're just cashing in on a trend and they're intentionally
people's
shitty.
eyes glaze over real fucking fast.
I'm not going to get into it. They're just not my thing, and that's what I end up saying. I'm just like, not my thing.
I will say there is one successful way for another person to change my view on something I like, and it doesn't even make sense, but I'll try to explain it. If like you're trying to show something that you have liked to someone, and it's clear the vibe in the room is that the other person thinks it's garbage and isn't on board with it, you do start to kind of question a little bit of, is this good? I don't know.
Yeah.
That has happened to me on several occasions. There have been like shows and movies that I've tried to show my wife, and she's just like, this is garbage, and I'm like, is it? Maybe it is. I don't know. I hope it's not. I hope maybe you're just wrong or tired or not into this or just not your thing. But there have been things where it's like you can just feel the energy of the other person, and it's like they're not into this. I think I still like it, but I don't. Now I'm doubting it. So that's the only successful way to do it. Don't ever come at anybody and say, "How can you like this?"
I just generally don't like. I'll say something. I will tell somebody that I like something, and then I just leave it on them whether they're like, oh, I would like to watch that, and I'll be like, I'll go grab the movie right now. But I never be like, hey, do you want to? I never do that.
Oh, okay.
I never try to foist anything upon people. I've just learned the hard way.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Just
It is
if I have a
heartbreaking.
good read on their
like
Yeah,
their interest or whatever.
on their taste, yeah, but just a stranger.
No.
Well, no, don't ever.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess,
never do that.
Especially in the Alps.
I got mildly lucky in just when I decided to go through my film nerd stage, like I was still living at home, and like, you know, if there's anyone that's like could be polar opposite from you, it's your own family, you know, like, and I would just, I remember like trying to say like, no, I discovered this really great French film or something like that, and try to show, and it's like, you mean I gotta read? It was like, Like now it's just like, okay, well, now it set me up for a lifetime of like I'm not even going to try. Like, I will mention, the works of Junet and Caro or something like that, but I'm not going to try to make you watch them.
It's like one afternoon when I was still living at home a few years ago, like Mom was watching something on TV, and I'm like, Mom, I really want to watch this movie. Do you mind not watching the Hallmark Channel for an hour and a half? Sure, honey, put it in, whatever. And it was Scott Pilgrim, and she finished, and she looked at me, and she's like, that was terrible. And I'm like, it's your house. I can't tell you to go, but
Go.
My worst is
God damn it.
I've tried to show Jen so many movies that I just adore, and she falls asleep in a fucking all of them. Like Big Lebowski was asleep within half an hour.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is one of the most quotable movies of all time. What are you doing? And
Are
she's
you
like,
asleep? Wake up.
Yeah. And she fell asleep during Out of Sight, and I was like, man, why did I marry you?
So it sounds like you've more it's more like it's made you question your own life instead of like other people outside influences.
Yeah.
We kind of took that in the opposite direction of.
Well, what's interesting is, but like, I find we tend to sync up more, like now that we watch stuff together.
Mm-hmm.
But like, what was it? Into the Storm? Was that what was the
found footage tornado
found footage
movie?
twister?
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Into the Storm. I was like eating that shit up.
Oh
And
yeah,
she's like,
throw that Twister DVD out
and
the
she
window.
was just like, this is fucking horrible. And she's like, I'm sorry, I asked us to go see this in the theater. I'm like, I'm not. This is fucking great. This is the best. This is the stupidest best thing. And I'm like, that Upright Citizens Brigade guy, he got sent into the sky in the middle of a truck in a tornado. It was fucking great. And she's like, that was so. She just could not handle how bad she thought it was.
It's the best.
Yeah, and she did lean over and apologize during Dark Tower because it was her request to see it. And I was like, I don't care. This is fine. But in general, like Harry Potter, we tended to sync up a lot on what we liked and didn't like out of those. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's just disheartening when you're like when you truly love something and you want to share it and
Yeah,
it doesn't work.
it's rough, man.
Anyway,
We got some more stuff, but we'll save it for next week because it's time. We hit our time limit.
Okay.
So BJ,
Yes.
you want to let people know how they can send more emails and voicemails if they so desire?
Sure. If you want to send emails, send them to bmf@bmfcast.com using your favorite male program or female program. I don't know.
Don't say female.
That's a joke. Also, if you want to just go to the website, it's bmfcast.com. We have a bunch of buttons on the right-hand side that'll take you to all our social, and all the episodes are posted there and all that good stuff. Then there is the Garfield phone where you can leave a voicemail, 9105-JOCKS-BMF or 910-556-9263. Give us a call, leave us a message, and you might get played on the podcast. Not like played, but
sir.
Played out.
But that's mostly our contact information. Two more plugs though. One is for the Discord server that we have, the Bad Movie Friends Discord server. If you go to bmfcast.com, there's a button there, and that can join you up. It's like an IRC chat sort of thing, and you get to hang out with not all the rest of our fans, but a number of fans. And
You can see how bored we all get at work.
right. And when we get bored at work, like 3 o'clock, we talk about Thrones and bangers and
MASH.
Yeah, we have
stuff.
some channels, so like if
Yeah.
you want to filter out certain things,
yeah,
you
it's
can always yell at someone
Yeah,
to take
you
it to
guys
whatever
have a
channel.
wrestling one that I have never gone in.
right. It's good.
I'm
It's
thinking
all
we
right.
probably need to make a video game one because I'm thinking there's some people that just glaze over like, why are you talking about video games?
Yeah, maybe.
you know.
But like
Just make a no quarters.
we made probably the best playlist on Spotify from our Hot Bangers channel. It is
Pretty
a
good.
pretty fucking good playlist. I was listening to it earlier today. But click that button on the website, and that'll take you there. And also, while you're clicking buttons on the website, there's one that's a P, and that's for our Patreon. And that's how we keep the show supported. That's how we pay for our hosting and pay for equipment. And when a SD card melts or whatever, we got to buy a new one. And that stuff don't come cheap these days. Actually, they do, but
P
still.
is for Patreon. That's what it means to be. We don't do this shit for free.
And there are bonus podcasts on it. So
There are bonus podcasts. There are
timed
lots
exclusives and actual exclusives there.
of them. Right.
There's a whole other BMFcast thing with just Chuck and I
Yeah.
watching
So if you hate me and Mackie,
dumb series of movies.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the best.
Like we're currently making our way through the Spy Kids filmography, cinematic universe
Uh-huh.
thing.
It's good.
that's
kinda
weird, but I applaud
regret
you for
missing
doing it.
You don't.
But I kind of don't.
You'd like them.
You like the first one, maybe.
Okay.
Maybe.
Well, they have Carla Gugino in them. So.
Yeah, that they do.
Well, the first one does.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Anyway.
it's not enough.
But I think that's about it.
Okay.
All right.
All right, well, let's get out of here, shall we?
All right.
I'm Harlow.
I'm Mackie.
I'm BJ.
I'm Chuck.
And this is BMFcast out. See you next time.
Good night.
I love you.
Yeah, I don't think the BJ Mackey countercast is going to happen
The-
because we're like, we don't have fucking time.
They don't have time for
We're
this
like,
podcast.
You're lucky we're both here on Wednesday night.
Right.
All right. You're lucky we talk about video games when we do.
Which, are we due for that again?
Probably, but
Oh, we can't be. I haven't played a fucking thing. You play every Monday. Yeah, but I mean that's
it's
5
well
minutes.
documented.
Yeah, that's all.
That's well documented.
It is. It's well documented. I think that thing might have not been fully dead.
Oh, God! Zombie beetle!
Zombie
the brains!
Good night, everyone.
Oh, no. It's Jon Snow the beetle.
I'm back.
My watch is ending.
Oh man, I can't believe Thrones is already going to be over.
I know. Well, for a year.
18 months.
18 months, mother
Yep,
of God.
18 months.
I'm gonna need like 8 shows to watch in the meantime.
Shit, I'm just going to read all the books and get caught up.
Shit.
You won't be.
Damn it! Damn it!
Shit.
Damn it!
Oh, there he is.
Damn it!
Get him.
What, is he still alive? You got shoes on? Step on it. Step on Spider! All right, good night, everybody. I just wanted to yell for the last couple seconds of this thing.